episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Aging Journey podcast, where we explore the strange and unusual experiences of growing up in time in various systems, as well as provide a safe space for diverse role players to explore aging and other lived experiences, unite diverse communities, and decrease social isolation through online gameplay. Today, I have Pan, Normal, Static, and Lauren playing a Kids on Bikes campaign, where there will be no kids, actually. But I am your GM, Tanyalashea. You can catch this game and other games just like it on our YouTube channel. Our socials and content warnings will be in the description of this video. So let's go back in time to 1930 Chicago in our Kids on Bikes campaign. X marks the spot, the real world. It is January the 2nd, 1931. The place, Chicago, Illinois. So it's been a mild winter. It's only negative 12 degrees today. And the streets and sidewalks of your neighborhoods are blanketed with untouched snow. Now, I'm going to pull up the map for this world, and I want us to kind of talk about what or where your crew lives in the city. So where would we find our riffraffs? Where is your headquarters? This is kind of what the city is looking like on the New Year's in 1931. Where do you guys want to do business in the city? Lots of options.
I don't know. Are we feeling more, front and center, kind of off on the outskirts?
I'm partial to the outskirts myself.
I'm in between because my business is to sell people's talent. So I kind of want to be in the middle of everything, but also we're doing shady things. So I don't want to be right front and center.
Do we got a speakeasy off near the coast?
Oh,
maybe that might be nice. Then we could have a beer looking at the water.
Not too far from the docks, but
just intimidating enough.
I will say that it is common for your base of operations where you do business to actually look like a business. So a hotel, a warehouse where you provide goods to the city, a nice little club that of course doesn't sell alcohol, things like that.
Of course not.
I mean, a hotel would be kind of cool.
Now you want to be careful if you're going to be doing a hotel on the coast, because as you can see, there is already a hotel, and that hotel is owned by the Russos.
Yeah, competition's good for business.
I mean, I was thinking we could run a theater potentially.
Ooh.
And then we could
Not
have. We have a performer, we have an operations manager, talent scout.
And we can always have an office there.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're wanting to do a theater, if you go down south, I don't know where you're thinking, there is already a pretty popular hop-in space called Candy Canes. It's not technically a theater, but it's a cabaret. So they do technically do theater. But you're not saying you can't.
Is that an upstanding theater or more like a little rundown dive?
Oh no, Candy Canes is luxury in the city.
But what's ours? Are we competing? Are we a little bit more like dime a dozen?
That's a great question.
My talent is top notch.
How dare you? I've never been dime a dozen in my life.
You keep telling yourself that.
Not all my talent does artsy things. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, we could try to compete on all fronts. A hotel with it really hard.
I like to think that I'm something of a businessman myself.
Interesting. Okay,
we have a casino basically.
I was gonna say, if you're doing
we are a casino.
You're doing a hotel or motel type of situation, plus some sort of a theater, but it's upscale, but you don't want to be next to the upscale hotel or the upscale theater.
This sounds like a secret casino, for sure.
Yeah.
Isn't gambling illegal at this point as well?
It would be a secret. It would be a secret casino. So then, what would the outside appearance be? What would the work be?
The petting zoo.
No.
One of my
love
goals
it,
is to
though.
expand my business enterprise. I'm telling you, I dabble.
A petting zoo.
It could be like a car shop. It could be like literally something that you feel like people would come in and out on a daily basis because it is a front, right? So you want to make it look like you have business. Could be real estate. It could be, I don't know, like you could even be like a contractor for pest control. You could probably be anything.
Okay, hear me out. A wholesome little bed and breakfast on the coast that doubles as a petting zoo.
Yo, we just got for the
Oh,
kid.
cute.
This is part of my goal. I don't know what you're talking. We have a nice little. I take care of the rams. I take care of the goats. We get our milk from the animals.
I will allow an illegal farm within the confines of the city that you have to like hide, and you probably
That's terrible for the animals.
I know it would be a legal farm where you'd have to, I guess, have a butchery license. I don't know how you would have
License? What are you talking about?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather butcher people than animals, honestly.
Weirdly enough, that's our tagline, and we don't get a lot of customers.
Fun for the whole family. So I'm down for this bed and breakfast. This sounds like a good time.
Bed and breakfast with an office?
Sure.
Bed and breakfast
Office
the-
or talent.
Oh, with like a tourism kind of thing. We can give people tours around the city.
Oh, that's
Oh,
nice.
wow.
Swindle the tourists.
Yeah,
And we have to pull the carriages
I'm a
to get
tour guy.
tours.
there you go.
Now, one of the things that comes to mind when you swindle tourists is you're most likely going to get a lot of IDs, a lot of personal information from people. Are you wanting to do something with that?
Oh,
Yes.
I mean, we just pass it
Absolutely.
along to the right people who pay for it.
After
Okay.
we clean out their bank accounts.
Gotcha.
Unless they're real fancy people, and then we just,
Blackmail them.
yep.
Okay. I like where we're headed. So it's a tourist touring company.
It is quite literally a tourist trap.
Yes.
That's a hilarious name.
every sense of the
The
word.
tourist trap.
Like, yeah, you guys were reviewed on Yelp as being a tourist trap, but now I said your name, so that was my bad.
Ha ha ha! Yes, come by.
If they're really well to do, we do the kidnapping that we're good at.
Yeah.
So.
Okay,
You
you're
keep
a
me around
tourist.
for a reason.
Ransom and
Yeah.
blackmail.
We just have them kidnapped away from our business during the trip.
Yes.
I
You
mean,
are-
we can take them anywhere we want in the city. They literally pay us to do it. So
Okay, I'm gonna put in the. I'm gonna do a new thread of episode notes just so that we can pin that, and then I'm gonna make a thread there. And message. Okay, and we have officially decided what your business will be, and what are you gonna name it?
I
We're
mean,
not
is,
aiming with the tourist trap.
is tourist trap too on the nose?
Tinseltown tours.
Tinseltown.
Nice Christmassy vibe going.
All right, you're a tourist tour and attraction company, and you are called what?
Yes. Name pending.
I'm gonna need a name right now, though. I have to
Right
think of
now.
something.
I like Tinseltown tours. That's cute.
Either Tinseltown,
Yeah.
Troubletown, Tumbletown. There's a lot of ways you could go with this.
We'll do Tinseltown tours right now, and then if you change it, if you find something funnier or something else, we can change it at some point. But right now, we'll say your Tinseltown tours. Okay, where are you located?
I kind of like to think
Near
up
the
north.
coast. We gotta have that
Yeah,
good
near
view.
the coast. Maybe up.
Maybe-
Where's the best view in the city?
Maybe like
Ooh.
between the Russos and the Wise Men?
Well,
Yeah, something like that.
Or
so you can go anywhere, but if you want to go up north, you can just know that, especially if you're up north and by the water, you're most likely going to get like a beautiful view of the lake. Most likely though, the tourists will want to go more center, so you can
What if
have people, like, if they come to the hotel, then maybe you can, like, if you're friends with the Russos, you can have like a couple of pamphlets in there of like, hey, go up north to see the tourist or Tinseltown
Wow.
tours.
I was gonna say, what if we just sit up near the hotel? I mean, if they come to stay at the hotel, see the tourist trap, come to the tourist trap. We could have some paid guys who hang out in that area, send them our way.
What are we
But
thinking?
isn't the hotel owned by the like boss
Mhm.
organization?
Yep. You can
Yeah.
again. You can be anywhere. Just keep in mind who owns what, because it'll just tell you, who
'Cause if
you'll
we-
need to be
Maybe
aware
we
of.
pay tribute or something. We give them a portion of our cut. They let us bring in business right nearby.
That's fair. So are we not a bed and breakfast then? Or we're just a tour?
Do you
We're
want?
both. You come.
I was
well,
gonna
that's
say
actually
you can do like the, like have two buildings where you have the tour, like the Tinseltown tours, and then literally be like, oh, next door we have a bed and breakfast called the Tourist Trap. You could do that. There's enough of you.
Okay. Because
But
like
remember that you're gonna have to operate these places.
if we're a competitive with the boss organization, that might be an issue for them. Not that they make a shit ton of
Yeah.
money off of that.
Possibly.
All right, I think I've got it. I think we just need to name like put every like nickname for Chicago into a
Into one
tour
name.
group. So it's like Muddy, Windy, Second, Tour on Big Shoulders.
This is a reminder.
Remind me.
What was it for?
Yeah.
Shish.
Take your birth control.
This is a reminder. Torture your players.
Is to feed my rabbit. It's gonna get on my nerves.
Aw.
So I'm gonna
baby.
quickly do that. But while I'm doing that, think of exactly where you'd like to put it, because I'm gonna put you on the map. That
Ooh.
way you have like your headquarters. And then also, if you are doing a tourist tour and attraction company, that's your company. So you can have two things under it if they're both under tourism. So you can have like your tour area, or like, I don't know if you want to do like a tour carriage, or not carriage, but like, car or bus or something. Or you can do, and you can also do like a bed and breakfast. And yes, you are going to be competition, but maybe you'll bring in a different crowd or something. I don't know. So think about if you do want to do that, and then let me know. And then also come up with your final names for your bed and breakfast and your tour company. And I'll be right back.
Now, if we're looking at this logistically, we kind of do want to be on the coast because that's kind of like the furthest away from all the other mob bosses' main HQs.
Yeah, except for the hotel, which is the main boss.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But if we're trying to
Now,
buddy
we
up
can
to
take-
the boss, then it wouldn't be a bad choice to be on the coast.
no families. Cut them all down.
Let's go.
I mean, we could be
Uh.
across the river from the bosses.
Yeah.
True. Over by the
That
Rum
seems like an
Runners
okay
or
spot.
Wiseman.
No, still,
Yeah,
yeah, by the wise
think
men.
there's
So
a-
close. Whatever that. I don't know what that icon is there.
It's
on the
a,
map.
It looks like a
it's a speakeasy.
It's a speakeasy.
I mean, hey, we could. Yeah, if we're near a speakeasy, people are going to go there anyway, and we can get business and then take them elsewhere.
Yeah, and they're more likely to not pay attention when we steal their stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, tour
That's
tour
not a
company
bad
is
idea.
wild because it means we can literally do whatever we want because they pay us to come and have them. Can take them anywhere we want in the city, and then other
good idea.
crime families should be paying us to take people they want places. I'm just saying.
Maybe they are.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's maybe that's
Strangle.
part of
Yeah.
the tour company. Where are the hallways?
There are special customers who come to us. Like, you come to us if you need to
We
go
give them
meet someone else.
Yeah, we give them an extensive tour of Lake Michigan.
Hey,
Very deep down. That's all.
Hilarious.
Gotta
I actually
close that.
think that's a good. That was going to be my next question of like, well, what do you guys actually do? It sounds like you just made it.
disposal, kidnappings, disposal, make a little money on the side.
It involves a lot of concrete blocks.
Do we provide lake
So many.
tours? Are we a lake tour?
I think we need
Yes.
lake tours as well. Yeah.
Lake tour.
Absolutely.
Okay,
I am your captain.
that'd be a good business. Okay, so is your name still Tinseltown Tours?
I think Tinseltown would be Hollywood, though, right?
Technically.
Okay.
Technically,
Yeah, Chicago's more
like-
like the Windy City, or
Second City.
To be fair, we do
Mud
have like an
City.
agent here for actors.
we're also casting people in movies. So
We're also a fake
We
talent
pander
agency.
to everybody. Anyone, just come and we got business for you.
Okay, I mean, are you a real talent agent or are you a scam talent
Yeah.
I'm both. I like
It just so happens I'm his only legitimate client.
that's possible. My talents, I search for talent. That doesn't mean necessarily acting talent. It could be they're really good at putting people 10 feet under.
Whoa.
So,
Is that how you found me?
yes.
We're all
Not a
talent
talent.
scouted by Raymond.
Can
Yeah,
I?
and I'm good at Kallie's good at cooking the books. I really scout at these things well.
So you're a tourist tour and attraction company, or do you want to be a tourist tour and because I was thinking attractions as if you take people to attractions on the
Yeah.
tour, but you could also be what is it? Not a booking agent, but talent company or something like that. Like, do you
Like
want to? Because you guys also said bread and breakfast. So which ones do you want to do? Do you want to do the tourist tour and talent agency, or do you want to do tourist tours and bed and breakfast?
So I think it's the tourist tours are like the thing because we're like using the tours to do all sorts of business.
Illicit activities.
Illicit activities that but also doing normal tours. And then like the talent agency is just how we find people to run said tours.
Okay, let's see.
So we're axing the bed and breakfast.
I think it's too many things.
We don't want them around after hours.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And also, you guys have a specialty. It sounds like you do lake tours.
We do
Yes.
these lake tours.
I mean, other
Right.
companies do like the city tours as well, but we're the only ones that do the lake tours potentially.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we
like
made sure
And
of that. Everybody's supposed
for-
to.
You have the Coast Guard in your pocket?
Hell yeah, we do.
Coast Guard,
And for a special
fishermen.
fee, we will give you a tour underwater.
For
Okay.
an extra special fee, you might even make it back from it.
The only ones that
Concrete
make
shoes
that
are
have
for
lake
buoyancy.
tours. So you're a tour, not going to do the bed and breakfast, but are you wanting to do tours and talent agency?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The talent agency is really just what I say to get new hires. Really, like, I think the only actual talent I book is Liv's character or Liv.
Okay. Then we'll
Static
just keep
character.
you guys
Just, like-
as a tourist tour and attraction company, but you guys will do individual things, and then maybe when people come in, because you're a tourist destination, so you'll probably have things up on the pegboard about other stuff in the city, and maybe there'll be all your other stuff you do because clearly this is a huge scam. And
Mhm.
anyone who walks in here is getting fully scammed. So I think that makes sense.
12 Ways to Sunday.
Is that a name?
No, that's how many ways they're getting scammed.
That sounds like a good name, especially since most people probably won't know what that means if they're a tourist.
That's
12
fair.
Ways Touring Company.
Yeah, it just means we have
We
12
got
different
12,
ways.
we got 12 ways to show you the city.
Yeah,
Gonna
bicycles. There's boats. There's horseback.
Love it. Okay.
But you actually never see all 12. They're not.
You don't want to see.
You
all
don't want to see all 12.
Yeah, like the 12 ways package that someone can get for like a whole week is always sold out. We just sold the last one of those.
A
Yeah.
bummer.
Okay.
You don't want to see number 8. Never.
12 ways
No one wants
touring.
to see number 8.
You do
That's
tourist
just a tour
tour
of our
and attraction
basement.
company. You're the only one that does lake tours, and you're centrally located. Are you wanting to be in between the speakeasy and the hotel, or between the hotel and the Russos?
I think it was between the speakeasy and the hotel. We wanted to be across
Okay.
the
Yeah,
river.
maybe we got river.
the-
What if we got like riverside property? Maybe
Yeah.
not coast side, but we got riverside property.
Okay, so that jut out here in the middle is basically the huge dock, and then there's the pier. So basically, that's the pier and the docks. So do you want to be like right next to that on the little edge here of this little river or
Yeah, like
aqueduct?
closer to
Okay.
the river.
Okay.
Basically, we're just right across the street from the speakeasy or across the river from the speakeasy.
Okay. Okay, that's good. So let me, because I'm making a note and I will add you to the map. You're being added
It's
to
on
the
the
map
tour.
as a tour company. So find your little icon or just the, oh, that's a cute little icon actually.
You know
Okay.
what's funny? I didn't
Mhm.
even think about this, but it's more funny is that there's the 12 days of Christmas, and we're the 12 ways
Oh.
coming,
Together.
It is
all
all
coming
together.
together.
Okay, you guys are on the map. So, what are you called? Oh, well, we already said actually. So let me put that in here as well. I'm going to give this place a name. You are called 12 Ways Touring. Or do you want something
Yeah.
else other than touring? Is that fine?
I'm good with 12 Ways Touring.
Yeah, I like touring.
All right. You guys are
12 Ways.
on the map. 12 Ways Touring. So, we have your headquarters. Perfect. And so we know what the organization does technically, but what do you actually do? You've already said some of it, but now let's actually list what you actually do.
Hold on. Are you a cop?
Blackmailing.
We're not, I don't speak to cops.
Are you a cop? You have to tell us if you're a cop.
Legally, you have to say. Which is not true, boys and girls listening at home. They don't have to say. So we blackmail and we
Kidnapping.
kidnap. We do lake tours.
If you know what we
We
mean.
take other people's garbage.
Identity theft.
Yeah, identity
Mhm.
theft. Yep.
Yeah.
Identity theft.
And just
Take
a
out
really
the-
bad touring company. Like, we don't
You
take
really
them to very
are.
good spots. Pretty low.
Oh, yeah, we could probably throw.
Probably.
Yeah.
just
I definitely
bad
have
business
scammed a
practices.
couple of bright-eyed young things thinking they're gonna get in the movies.
Fraud.
You end
Okay.
up working the-
Take out other people's trash. Fraud. What else?
That's a lot of things.
That is a lot
I know
of
we got a
things.
lot under our belt.
Kill people.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
What-
my more subtle way.
What would, other than what you do for the tourists, when it's the slow season, what do you do, right? Like, what do you do in the city? Like, what do the people in the city still come to you for? Other than like taking people's trash out, which we kind of talked about. So that's
Protection.
one. Okay, protection.
Are we
That's
big? Are we big enough to be a protection racket? I feel like we might get snubbed by the other
I
mafias
feel
if
like-
we try a protection racket.
It's less of protection and more of like protected transport. Like we don't protect a
Yeah.
whole area, but like we protect runnings and things like that.
I feel like we got to do something. If we're keeping our like lock on the lake side, we got to do something with the fishermen. The fishermen, anyone who's on the river, we do work with them.
Smugglers.
We keep.
Yeah.
Ooh, smuggling.
Yeah.
Smuggling makes sense.
It's a great time to do it
Definitely
when nobody's
smuggling.
around.
Mhm.
And that does make a lot of sense since you're
Exactly.
doing a lot of identity theft.
And if we're on Lake
How
Michigan,
many schmucks have we
It's a big
used to help smuggle us stuff?
Well, I was thinking like you gotta get the papers cleaned, and then you most likely don't want them to stay in the city. You want them to go to another city.
Yeah. We have fishermen.
Okay, so I think that's enough. Identity theft, taking out people's trash, fraud, protected transport, and smuggling.
Dude, if we get caught, we're going to jail for a long time.
forever. What?
If we get caught, we're not going to jail.
Now, what are you all called? Like, particularly locally, like what would the other crews call you? So we have like Fatima, that's the Kane territory, but like people call their people probably something internally, or perhaps there's nicknames that people have for each other. Like if people were talking about you, what would they say? Like, oh, you want to go to so and so.
The
Those
lake
fucking
monsters.
guys.
The lake monsters.
Those
The
fucking
mosquitoes, jerks. Those annoying
The lake monster's kind of fun.
That is
Loch
kinda fun.
Ness. What just been Nessie?
Ooh.
They're so Nessie.
I
Nessie's
like
been
your name for a lake. Let me look at names for a lake or something.
Lock workers?
The lock.
Lock workers.
Okay, like specifically though, can Kallie and Liv be known as the lady in the lake?
Oh, we all need river puns now.
Let's see. A couple of similar
Find
words
old
of
names.
lake. We have the mare, waterhole, lagoon, the log, Tarn, Lock. Well, Lock is one. What are we thinking? Let's see.
Those, gosh darn.
Gosh darn. I wonder if there is a specific. I wonder if Chicagoans, like old school Chicagoans, called the lake something different.
Yeah, like I don't know.
It could be Lockheads.
Lockheads. That's good.
No, that's a good one.
Oh, they're boring. They just call it the lake.
That's
Boring.
The lake of stinking water. Lac d'Illinois.
Also, apparently, Mud Lake.
Grand Lac or Lac Dauphine.
I like the lake
Lac
monsters.
You like the lake monster?
The lake mobsters.
The lake.
Real on the nose.
I don't think we're supposed to admit.
No,
it's
this is what people call us.
sneaky.
We fervently deny it every.
What
Yeah.
about
It's
the
an
lake?
over-
Lake lurkers.
Alliteration.
Mhm.
That's yeah. Oh, I see. Ford, Firth,
The lake.
Bay. Oh, it's not a bay.
The lake night show.
The fjord folk.
The fjord.
I mean, you technically have like a Swede, so
Let's see. The pier, because you guys are literally right on the water and
Okay.
on the
We are
dock.
the peer
The
pressure.
Piers. Or just the Piers. And like, is it P-E-E-R-S or P-I-E-R-S? Nobody knows.
Ooh, the Piers.
The
That's
peer
hilarious.
peasants.
Oh my gosh. Let's see.
Peer problem.
Okay, well we can do the piers, lake piers, or the lake piers, or just the piers, or pier and then a number. Let's
Peer
go with that
trouble.
for now.
Peer
we'll go with-
pressure. There's so many peer puns.
The piers, and I think we'll allow the joke to be an in joke, just like 12 ways. So it'll still be spelled like the pier, so that if anyone outside of the community hears it, they just think that's your name because you're close to the docks.
Mm.
The piers.
People think
Okay.
we're unimaginative. We're just really clever.
That's exactly
Hello,
right.
clever.
They're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, that's why it is. Yeah, that's it.
Like, we're
Okay.
better than everyone else. That's why we call this.
And then we just,
So
you know, stick a kick me sign on their backs.
The location of your headquarters, you've named your crew, you've determined what your crew is known for. So let's look at you each personally. Let's look at the map again and pick your locations of like your personal homes, as well as you can have some side businesses. And I swear, Normal, if you say petting zoo,
I
I'm
said
gonna-
that character
I will let you.
creation is- That was
Let's start with Lauren.
okay.
Go ahead and pick the location of your personal home. So technically this should be the place that you sleep at least every night. So people should know you live here. Therefore, it should technically, for all of your homes, be someplace where it's like safe. So it should
Right.
be in your territory, but I think
They
we should-
were Volkovs. Is that
we're
right?
actually hold on. I actually skipped that. I need you guys to choose where your territory is going to be.
Okay.
So choose that first, and
Oh,
then we'll look at personal homes and side businesses.
So do we have territory separate from these four families? Or are we part of one of these? That's on
You
the
have
map?
your own territory.
Oh, okay.
we put our base right in the middle of everybody. I feel like our territory is
Yeah.
weird because like we kind of go everywhere we're allowed to.
Yeah, we kind of work for everybody a
I
little
guess-
bit.
A lot of our
Yeah, but the territory is your-
territories-
Your territory is more of like your defendable space. So it's like if people come into your space, you will have
okay.
people around you that will rally. So it's almost
I feel
like a
like it's-
safe haven.
Is it the coast? Because if we have the lake tours and we got the fishermen in our pocket, is it just a large chunk of the coast?
It could be the coast. It could
Maybe.
be like your territory could be where the Stallion Hotel is. That would be a bit of a power play for because apparently you've allowed
Set
them
up,
to build a
right.
hotel there. So it could include the pier and go up north, or it could not include the pier or just include the pier but go down south. Or it could be this whole like central area, like a big old
Like the whole
oblong
rivery
circle.
part.
Yes, like that whole river before it turns into two different rivers, or when it does turn to two different like little rivers. Could be that as well. So you have some space to play with.
I would think it would be at least around the main pier and then probably down the river a little ways.
Yeah,
And then
'cause I
maybe
feel
as
like-
much of the coast as we could snag.
Yeah. So I feel like the more access to water we have, the faster we are to get around.
Oh, that's a good
Mhm.
idea. Because yeah, you have a boat. Oh, okay.
To get out of town.
Well, how about we do this then? I'm gonna say you can have it because these territories we don't have like what is it like
Borders.
little squiggly lines like the last map, but that's because in real life these territories are a little bit less, defined.
All of Lake Michigan. That's just
But
We have very little land, but we have the whole lake.
but your territory can be like long, like it can be from the pier to the tip of like one of these, like until you hit the like Volkov's warehouse.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
But if you do that,
Yeah, I like that.
I will say that you have to pick a direction. You can't have both little rivers.
Do we want to go south?
I would think south, because if we're a touring company,
Yeah.
people are going to want candy canes on the tour. And so it would make sense for us
sure.
to deliver people over there.
Okay. That means that
let's
the
go south.
speakeasy is also in your territory. So that's nice for you guys.
Hey.
So it doesn't, these things don't have to be yours, but because they're in their
Mhm.
territory, that definitely means that the people who live here have permission to be in your territory. So, and they also usually have your protection.
Do we have a
Alright.
wise men problem then? Is that an issue for us?
You do now because you've just chosen your area.
Oops.
Loop.
Yeah, I will send them off to sea.
They're the ones that are like invading for no reason, right? In our lore.
Technically, you don't know where they are, but they are on the
Mhm.
map because I
Okay.
needed to put them on the map.
That was nice of them to tell
Yeah,
us
they
where
must-
they were.
Yeah, that was really convenient.
All right, let's go hunting, boys. A very grand
Let's get
tour.
'em.
So what is it? Piers territory. All right, you are. Oh, it looks like Pier 1. Piers territory.
Oh, we do importing.
Yeah,
So.
Pier 1 imports.
You guys do imports of a sort. Yes,
And
okay.
exports.
Yeah.
Import.
And export.
Export.
Okay, so that is your territory. Perfect. Now that you kind of know where the territory is and where your location is, now we're going to start with Lauren to find your houses. So where do you sleep every night?
I mean, I could be sort of near, like across the street from like the speakeasy, maybe in like pinkish building, like so, like more like southwest of the speakeasy.
Oh, so you want to be on the other side of the river?
I was considering it.
Do you want to be on that little island?
Let's see. Maybe I'll just be further inland. Maybe that like orange one, right where the river splits, for at least somewhere to live. Yeah. Let's be a little further away from the action. The orangey brownish one that's to the southeast of the rum runners there, and the southwest of the stallion.
Okay, I will put you guys on the map and then I'll show you the map so that you can correct. Actually, this is hard. Let me just show you my screen.
Are you sharing it?
Not yet. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let me put this over here and make this bigger. Okay. Here we are. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I was
this
talking
is you
about.
guys' area. And so you're wanting to be like right here, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love our cute little touring logo.
It's so good.
All right, that is where you live. Anything else you'd like to add to the map? Let's do like 1 or 2 places that have some sort of significance to you. This could be a business or something you frequent, things like that.
I was kind of debating whether or not, like, so Kallie is like a like operations manager. I was just debating like a business that's not a front, that is actually reputable, that she might.
Okay.
I mean, do we need that, or do we just tell people we run a tourist company and that's enough?
No, you can do that if you want. Especially if it's like something that you enjoy, like kind of like Raymond is a talent agency or a talent agent.
Yeah.
As like his thing, so maybe he might have like a little outpost somewhere where people do like headshots or have a photography studio. So you can do something that is an actual legit business that you personally want to like visit or have your personal name attached to. So like if people want to go to that place, they'd be like, oh yeah, hit up Kallie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, for that then. I mean, I'd had like the theater idea, but we don't really want to compete. So, but I guess we also need our star to have a place to perform. So I don't know.
You want to do a theater?
Yeah, but something like smaller scale, like comedy, like was being talked about before, I think. So it wouldn't be like a cabaret.
Yeah, like more of a hole in a wall, like smaller independent production. Yeah, plenty of those.
Okay.
Okay.
It'd be like that.
Now, do you want it in your territory or do you want it somewhere else?
I think it's safer in our territory, probably, if we're linked to other stuff.
It is now, yes.
Yeah, I'm open to where it is, but yeah, I'm thinking within our territory. So
okay. So we'll have somewhere that there is a independent theater that Kallie runs. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else before I move on?
I think that's it.
Okay. Pan, where does Raymond live?
So I think Raymond probably wants to live pretty close to the business because he is bougie.
Just live at the hotel.
I was about to say, that's
Honestly,
super bougie.
That might be what I want to do.
Oh my gosh.
You live in enemy territory.
Are you living in like the penthouse at the hotel? That's crazy.
Power play.
Man, if you don't, I will.
I mean, I probably want to.
Okay. Raymond lives at the hotel. We'll put you like right here. And what about a side business or something like that?
My talent agency. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where would you like that?
I think it's less of like a place and more of like a I hand you a business card type thing.
Okay. Would you, when you hand them a business card, would you tell them to go somewhere for something? Like if you're trying to recruit talent, I would assume you would need all of the facilities of a studio at some point.
I mean, sort of, but like in this time period, I don't think talent agents really had their own studios. I think it was more like if we were doing actual talent, we'd just send them to auditions, you know? So if anything, I have like an office, but...
Do you want that office to be separate from the 12 Ways touring building?
I don't think it needs to be. I think it could be that building.
We will say Raymond's talent agency, and that's just in 12 Ways. Is it like a back room or basement?
Yeah, it's like a back room. Well, but I don't meet you there first, you know. Yeah. First, I want to dine you and take you to the speakeasy and show you the glamours of show life, and then we go to the back office and
just love it. That's right, because in the Christmas special, you were really big on contracts.
Yep.
I feel bad.
That's my real world. That's my real world transition there.
Love it. Any other place you want to add?
So we have the speakeasy in our territory, right? It's the old rail. Is that the one?
Oh no, the old rail is something different.
Oh.
Yeah, this little these little
guy.
like these like little icons, those are speakeasies.
Oh, okay. And where's the theater that we just made?
Right. Oh, well, it's not on here because I didn't put it on here, but it is somewhere in your territory. So somewhere along here, essentially.
Okay.
You don't have to now, but these are just for kind of like immediate. And then as we go along, as you guys actually like build out the world and meet people and maybe you open up a new thing, that map will continue to grow.
Like I have an idea, but it's just like the sewer.
Like the sewer
I feel
entrance?
like or like just like a more like manhole type tunnel that's like my favorite to like bring people to scare them.
Oh, like one of your spots. One of your
like one of our creepy spots.
And this is the cistern where I'll break your legs if you don't behave.
Yeah, I guess exactly those ones. Oh, but I'd like it to be in a sewer somewhere so that Doris can do her thing and really freak everybody out.
Right. How about your own like private entrance to the sewer? Because obviously the sewers have like manholes, but those, I mean, you could just open one. But if you want to go in some place that you don't think like a maintenance person will ever go down because they know it's yours.
Yes.
Like
a
that.
Secret key or gate or something that leads to my favorite dark tunnel in the sewer.
Raymond's favorite secret tunnel in the sewers. It?
We can call it the rat hole
Very fun.
instead of the manhole, because
No, that was
rat.
good. No, we got it. That was hilarious. Okay. Thank you, Pan. Let's move up then to Static. Where are you living?
Good question. I kind of want Little Miss Liv to remain as extra as humanly possible. What is that little pink square? That actually kind of where that house is now. That's across the street from the Is that open real estate?
Sure.
Because I think she would love a cute little seaside cottage.
Okay. Okay. That's where you're living.
Perfect.
Why can't I spell? Okay. All right. And then side businesses or places of interest.
I think she mostly relies on everyone else to provide her locations where she can perform. I don't think she is responsible or organized enough to run her own business.
You pay taxes on your furs?
No. I'm going down like Al Capone. It's taxes that are going to get me.
Do you have a secret vault somewhere?
Maybe.
It's reminding me of, I don't know if anyone's watched Arrested Development, but it reminds me of the mother's like secret storage where she keeps all her furs that she has not paid taxes on in like 40 years.
Yeah. Yes. I think I would like maybe in that little, the map's getting crowded around here, but kind of just south of Kallie's, that little tree in the triangle.
Right here?
Yeah. I kind of want that to be a park that has like an old school wishing well that Liv is convinced actually works.
Oh, that's cute.
And she may throw people down it instead of coins.
I don't know why I thought that was just going to be a cute thing.
Just so we can stay on brand.
Liv's wishing well. That's an actual well and is very deep, unfortunately.
Yes, tragically. You know, kind of how cats like to bat stuff off tables. It's like that.
That's horrifying. Love it. Any other place? Or anything else?
I think that's it for now.
Okay. Let's move up to normal. See, where does Cesar live?
At the petting zoo. No, I'm fine. I can live without that. I think Cesar lives right around the docks, similar to pretty close to where we have our touring company. It's like one of those warehouse buildings, though. He's got like an upper room in a warehouse.
Gotcha. Do you want to live like over here? Like,
yeah, probably.
Okay, so you would live basically across the river here.
Yeah.
Okay. And where are you? What type of like special places do you want to put on the map?
So we're gonna go all the way across the map to the left, and there's a shack over in the woods, or at least the most wooded area that you can give me, and that would be Caesar's Armory, where he just keeps a variety of tools and equipment for the trade.
Okay, I can do that. It'll need to be not an artificial forest, but like a forest or like wooded area, really woods that you have control of if you don't want like people to go in there.
If that doesn't work so much, then it would just be like an apartment along the river here in our territory.
Okay.
Either in the river, along the coast, somewhere by the water. There's just like an apartment building that he's got rented out, where he has just a supply of different tools that he uses.
Okay. That I can do. Okay. So you own an apartment building.
Sure.
And it is a place that rents out, but perhaps you have, your own room there that might have some material.
Yes.
Very nice. Anything else?
Well, I'm going to go into this apartment building. I like to think that it like offers cheaper rent to like lower class people in the town, mainly so we can keep them on our side. That's why we have a lot of why we're able to maintain territory for being such a small crew.
Oh, okay. So you want like reasonably affordable, even probably more than reasonably affordable. But
these apartments are reasonably affordable housing for like fishing families, dock workers.
Okay. All right. And you want it where? Are you wanting it just like on the coast?
You could probably just replace where I live. Actually, no, I should probably live in a place separate from this business. But yeah, somewhere on the coast. He's got an apartment building. He owns a room in there where he stores all his tools and weaponry and equipment, and then he rents out the rest of the building at reasonable low prices.
Okay. So do you want to live there or do you want to live somewhere else?
No, I'll stay living in the warehouse.
Okay. Okay. All right. Couple of places people are. Sounds good. I'll add the smaller, like little places that you guys want to not live, but where you want to do your side businesses and side work. When I find some icons for those. But
Nice.
very good. You have essentially updated the map at this point. So you've kind of picked your personal homes, a couple of side things, any landmarks in the city that you feel is important to you. We have kind of one with Liv being a wishing well, but anyone else have any ideas of something they'd like to add? Doesn't have to be specifically for the uses, doesn't have to be specifically for you, but kind of like, just a place you like to go or a place that you want to mention and you have an idea of like where it would be located. Let me put up. Yeah.
We probably don't need to add it to the map, but we definitely have like a dock and boat that we use for touring.
Right.
What's the name of the boat?
High roller.
Lady
Nice.
Kriller.
Man.
It could be the Lady of the Lock. Someone had mentioned that. Nessie.
That one's cute.
Okay, we'll go with Nessie. Okay, so you have a dock and a boat, or you have like a spot where you park the boat at the pier or your own pier. Anything else?
I can't really think of anything, but as we
Okay.
play the game, we could put more stuff in, I think. Right?
All right, then we are going to move forward with not this map because this is the old map, but with the new map and the extra stuff I'll put on it eventually. We're going to move forward with this being the version of Chicago that you live in when we actually play in the game so that you kind of know where everything is, where you guys are, and stuff like that. So let's take a quick break and then we'll come back. Let me pause. Okay, and we're back. So I think that's a good start. So let's introduce the members of our crew, the Piers. So let's go around and just say what your name is and kind of describe your character a little bit, and then we'll move from there. So let's start with Normal.
Hello, hello. I'm not quite normal, and I am playing Cesar Krieg. He is a very well-built, tall gentleman, kind of in his like late 40s or so, with a very thick grayish black beard and very thick grayish black hair. Usually seen wearing either like a woolen sweater or when he's out on business, just this very large, dark, like trench coat style duster.
It is actually turning into a bit of a blizzard this morning. In 1931 on January 2nd, only one day after New Year's, 2 days before New Year's Eve. Where are you right now in the city? Where would you be finding yourself in a blizzard early in the morning on New Year's, on 2 days after New Year's or 1 day after New Year's?
Definitely just out on like the wharf side, making his rounds through the wharf fishing area of of Chicago.
Nice. Static.
I was drinking water.
This is Raymond.
I'm Static. I will be playing Liv Skolkat. She is a diva. She is a superstar, even if everyone else hasn't realized it yet. She prefers to go around in the latest fashions, especially decadent furs. And occasionally, if she has to do some dirtier work, well, that's what dry cleaners are for. She may have one or two of them in her pockets.
Lovely. Just like Cesar, it is 2 days after New Year's Eve. Where did you lay your head? Where are you waking up?
Well, if it's early enough in the morning, she's definitely not awake yet. But she would be, she'd be at her cute little seaside cottage, curled up by the fire, with a nice, cup of coffee or tea. She does not do business until she absolutely has to. So mornings are very relaxing for her.
Lovely. Pan.
Yes. I'm Pan, and I will be playing Raymond King, see? And I am a talent scout. I find the best talent from all walks of life, and I bring them on into our gang. He is a tall guy with a slicked back black hair and a thin pencil mustache, and he's always carrying a leather satchel that has his pet rat Doris inside, who is his little baby.
Lovely. Again, it is 2 days after New Year's Eve. Where did you lay your head, and where would you be 2 days later as a blizzard sets in?
What time is it?
It's real early in the morning, I would say.
Okay. Well, 2 days after New Year's Eve, he's finally finished making his loft presentable again, because he definitely had a rager there New Year's Eve. But he is up and he is going through contracts that he got people to sign on New Year's Eve while they were all wasted as fuck. So he is basically counting the money that he's going to reel in from these people that he's kind of conned. So going over paperwork in his loft in the Stallion Hotel.
Wonderful. And Lauren.
Yep, I'm Lauren. I'll be playing Kallie Svensson. She is an operations manager of like a small theater, but also does the books for the crew to make it look legit. She's a tall, late 20s blonde woman, and typically is wearing pants. Oh my goodness, 1930s, and like a vest. So she kind of stands out with like boots. Yeah.
Okay.
And and the blonde hair also is very distinguishing too. So
very nice. And where would you be waking up 2 days after New Year's Eve?
Yeah, she would be in her apartment. Like a second floor, 1-bedroom apartment that's very like neatly kept. If there's a blizzard coming, like she's already bought a bunch of food and supplies and has it all ready. Keeps a very like neat, tidy place. So
of course she's prepared. So your crew has been pretty busy in the last few years. You've been rising up the ranks. You became the favorite of Mrs. Russo just a few years ago, and essentially by proxy, you're essentially the envy, but also the target of every other crew in the Red Syndicate. However, your crew's success is only as strong as the individual reputation you all hold. Reputation is earned slowly and painfully. It can be earned and lost in the same moment and does not ensure loyalty or allyship. It simply means you are seen as more dangerous or more enticing or just more noticeable, which means that your individual goals are very important, not only to you, but also to your crew, as well as how people will interact with you in the future. So regardless, just as the success of one of you causes you all to rise, it can also cause you all to have a downfall. So let's start with Cesar. What are your 3 goals? You're muted if you're trying to say something.
And here I was going off on a nice spiel. I was in the flow. Just immediately, it's all gone. All right. So the first goal that I have is simply to expand my business enterprises. I have a variety of ways that I would like to do that, and we'll see where things go with them. For the second goal, what did I want to do with the second goal? Can we do someone else first? I still have to work on my last 2. I have an idea for them, but I don't have it fleshed out.
Okay. You don't have to have them fleshed out.
Sorry.
Just exactly how you said it is fine with expand your business, and then you'll figure that out later. But we'll come back to you to get your other 2. So how about we do this? Who would like to start? Has to be somebody.
Do we have to have all 3 goals now? Or can we develop them as we go? Because like I for sure have a first goal. And like the second goal would kind of depend on if the first goal happens at all.
Okay. How about you tell me what goals you think you want to have, and you can always change them.
Well, since my first thing is like charisma and noticing people's body language, like that's my first superpowers, I was thinking like I'd really like to get all of the heads of the other syndicates like on my side. Like they might not agree with each other, but they always listen to Raymond King. and his peers.
That sounds good.
And if that happens, I kind of want to start taking over territories
Of course. Okay. So then what would be the end goal?
to rule the city.
Long live the king.
Yeah.
Perfect. Who would like to go next?
I can
I
actually go
can't.
next. I
Oh, yeah,
flushed
no,
it.
you
I got
can.
him. Unless
No, you started. You finish yours.
so, first goal simple enough. I want to get my business more expansive. The second goal is more for all of us. I wish to expand our territory over the coast. I think it would be better for everyone if we were the ones in charge there. And my final goal is to eliminate, well, really as many of the heads of our rivals as we can.
Okay. Who's next?
Sure. Liv is a simple creature. Her first goal is to gain as much wealth as she can. If it's shiny, she wants it. Her second goal is to gain protectors because she doesn't want to actually do the work to continue to keep her wealth safe and growing. So the more people who support her in this effort, the better. Her final goal is to live the life of unquestioned luxury that she absolutely deserves.
Unquestioned luxury. Okay. That leaves Kallie.
Yeah, so Kallie wants to run a successful business with her theater. Also wants to expand the territory. And being a successful business means not having to like dip into what they're making from like their crimes, but actually be able to support it with actual revenue from the business.
Kallie just wants to run an actual business.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then expand the territory would be 2. And then the part of the expand the territory then goes into goal 3, which is putting candy canes out of business.
Oh my gosh.
Hell yes.
Okay. So clearly you all just said your goals out loud, but in terms of the way that you all work together, would you all kind of have an idea of each other's goals? It doesn't have to be all of them, but like in general.
I feel like Liv's pretty transparent, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's pretty clear Raymond King wants to be the top of the heap.
Okay.
And I think Caesar's all for that.
Yeah, I don't know if Kallie fully believes that she can manage to put candy canes out of business, but she'll like say it maybe after a few drinks, and maybe it seems like a joke.
Oh,
but
Caesar
gets brought
knows
up.
exactly how we can help there.
That's perfect. Nice. Okay. Good to know. So let's go back then to New Year's Eve. I heard somebody said they had an absolute rager, which is exactly what is going to happen on New Year's Eve. But it is a bar none crazy party where everyone, and I mean everyone, has attended. And we'll say that it's at the Stallion Hotel, but obviously, since Raymond lives there and he's also throwing his own little private party, the place is packed. Like the hotel is packed, but so is Raymond's apartment based on everyone who can get in, right? And you all are partying. Everyone's partying hard. It was a long year last year. You guys did a great job being the people who did your pickups perfectly, as you usually do, as you have done the last couple of years. And so it's kind of like a celebration, but also like a thank goodness we survived the last year. But now you know that you got to do it all over again. So this is kind of your last moment to just chill, just relax, but also have a good time. It's also a bit of a stalemate, right? Everybody knows not to start any mess, essentially. You don't get a lot of those moments in the city, but you are all, let's say you are all at Raymond's abode for this party. And we'll say that you guys are like, you arrive, like Raymond is there, but you all arrive together. But let's look at kind of like what you guys did in the night or for the party night. So other than like, laughing and drinking and have a good time, what would everyone be doing? What type of partier are you? Let's start with the host, Raymond King.
Well, see, I'm shaking hands and making deals and, just generally making everyone feel welcome and like they can talk to me, let's air out the dirty laundry of the year and sign a couple contracts while we're just sitting here.
Very nice.
Every moment is a business opportunity. You know what I mean?
Raymond, you are shaking hands as people come in. Everyone gives you a nod of respect. Do you have everyone get patted down? Do you make sure they don't come in with weapons?
I send out invitations. This is a loft
Okay.
party. This is not a like down at the bar party. So this is like top tier people that I invited.
Okay.
So I'm not like checking anybody because definitely everybody's carrying for sure. But like I didn't invite rabble to this party.
Who?
I didn't invite like rabble, like the lower tier.
Oh, like
Skips.
rabble. I see rabble. Got you. Okay. Did you invite the bosses?
Ooh, I for sure invited the bosses. If they will come to a party, then I invited them.
Okay. You are, however you are, introducing or saying hello to everybody as they come in. They're all giving you the respectful head nods, handshakes, and I would say like the first few people that kind of come in are, high to mid-level, but none of the bosses are there yet. You do know that Melinda, who is Mrs. Russo, she owns the building, but she's not in the building very often, right? So she would really only be here if she was here for either the party downstairs or your personal party, which she has an invitation to. So you're kind of like, just checking just to see if anyone of actual importance shows up, like one of the bosses, but they haven't yet. What's the vibe like in here?
It's very swanky. We got top tier booze. We got jazz musicians. We are decked out in diamonds for this year. It's very swanky.
You are talking with everyone and being the perfect host as you are. What is Liv doing?
Liv is absolutely decked out in her best, all glitz and glam. Always has a drink in her hand, but maybe isn't actually drinking it as much as you think she is. And is just flitting from group to group, trying to ingratiate herself with absolutely everybody.
Mm-hmm. You certainly are popular because everyone kind of knows who you are, particularly if they're a local, like if they're in Chicago regularly. But then there are guests or plus ones that have been allowed just due to being a partner or someone that person finds important, and they just see glamour, right? You do have a couple of people being like, oh, they love absolutely everything you're wearing and what color lip shade is that. A lot of fake politeness to kind of see how much you're worth.
Everything.
Where do you think you are in relation to the front door?
I think she's probably in she tries to stick to the middle of the room just to get the most amount of people possible in her orbit, but she has her eye on the front door in case she needs to get over there real quick.
Perfect. You are kind of not constantly surrounded, but there are always people around you because you're very glamorous and you're very glitzy and people want to be talking to you. Mainly younger women or older women who really love your style and your look. And so if you were to move away from them, you would need to kind of part the scene. You have a good amount of people around you regularly. So then let's move on to see where Cesar is.
So Cesar is over by whatever constitutes a bar, or where you would keep the snacks or the refreshments, if there's a countertop for that.
Raymond, is there such a thing? I'm sure there is, but
there's definitely a bar, and then there's definitely a buffet that has charcuterie and caviar, nice shit.
Oh yeah, there's a nice spread here. Cheeses you've never even seen.
Oh, it has so many cheeses because Doris is here and she is wearing a studded collar and enjoying every type of cheese there is.
Is Doris loose on the charcuterie board?
Doris is normally on my shoulder if I don't have her in the case. So she has her diamond studded collar on, and I've been feeding her every type of cheese.
I see. She's not personally rummaging through the buffet table. Excellent.
Yes.
So that's where you are, Cesar. There's definitely a full bar with an immaculately dressed waiter who is making beautiful cocktails in glittering and silver glasses and crystal glasses and things like that right next to you as well.
I think Caesar's ignoring all of it. He's got his back to the bar. He's just kind of eyeing the entirety of the room. And he's got the eyes of someone looking for a mark, but not like he wants to take advantage of it, but more like he's eyeing everyone in the room to see who stands out as the threats, who's a problem, who's gonna be a pushover, just wherever the hierarchy. He's establishing a hierarchy in his head.
Now, people know who you are. How would you interact with them if they were to approach you?
Oh, he gives a smile, shakes a hand, but the smile never really reaches his eyes, and no one really sticks to talk to him for long, because he's always just kind of not intense, but he doesn't necessarily make people the most comfortable, unless they're in his line of work.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's exactly what you see kind of in the room as people shuffle around. It's starting to get full in here, but you see Raymond at the door still letting people in. So it's getting packed. You see Liv over kind of like mid-central, but in the back, as she has been kind of constantly crowded with people. But 9 times out of 10, when people would kind of like come up to you, they kind of put up their hand, regardless of whether you take it or not. But they're like, Mr. Krieg. Is your last name Krieg?
Krieg, yeah.
Okay. They're like, Mr. Krieg, it's such an honor. I really enjoy your work. And so these are usually other people in your line of work who have like maybe never met you in person.
I think those conversations he actually does get into. Like, this sounds terrible, but he's very passionate about his work. He's always curious to hear how other people, where their work experience takes them.
Exactly. Love it. And then Kallie, where are you?
I think Callie's gotten like a nice cocktail, and it's just probably somewhere where she can survey the room or as who's there. Probably has like her back to the window or something, like found a chair.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You also see what Cesar sees. Liv is kind of in the corner, constantly kind of crowded with people. Raymond continues to let people in as it starts to get pretty, busy and hopping in here. And let's say it's not early, but it's not that late. So it's going to be a long night. And the bar is starting to get a little crowded where you're kind of next to. And Cesar seems to be, polite to some, but still keeping an eye. And so you can kind of see that. Now, how would you interact with people if they looked over and saw you and wanted to approach you?
I think there would be like an acknowledgement, like a polite nod that would allow them to know they can approach. So
okay. You don't get many people who come over to your side, but you do tend to get a lot of eyes on you just for like a moment of like, oh, that's Kallie. That's Kallie Svensson. And they laugh and talk. What you mainly notice though is not only is this place getting very busy and crowded, but there's also a few people that have recently entered that have, let's say it's very obvious that they have something on their person, whether it's, a slight bulge or a quick like sliver of a shininess you might catch. So you're just simply aware that obviously, even though this is a safe space for everyone and there's not supposed to be any drama, people have come, as they usually do, prepared just in case. The night is going on pretty well. Everyone is having a great time, and it's probably 1 o'clock in the morning, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. And people are actually still arriving. A couple of people have left. Raymond, at this point in the night, you actually see coming through the front door, Fatima Kane herself. She is actually a portly, shorter woman, but she has a very curvaceous form, and she's wearing an absolutely gorgeous, dazzling red dress that has rhinestones from top to bottom. and it's strapless and it goes all the way down to the floor. And she's also wearing a beautiful long fox fur that is being draped over her shoulders. And she kind of walks in and kind of just takes a look around just to kind of see if she even really wants to stay. And then she looks over at you and puts her hand out. She doesn't even really say anything. She simply puts her hand out, expecting you to take it in any form you want, but she is expecting a kiss, but she will take any form you give her.
Oh, well, I of course take her hand and give it a kiss. Why, Fatima, why you do grace us with your beautiful presence.
Well, I had an invitation, and you know I love a party, Raymond.
Oh, we love to see it. We love to see you at the party. How are you doing, Fatima? How did the year treat you?
She wraps the box over her shoulder and kind of walks in a little bit. It's been fine. Boring, I think. Just waiting for this dry spell to finish up. Getting kind of dull with no one drinking. Well, you know, out in the street.
I think we're broaching the topic with a couple senators. Maybe it'll end soon, you know?
Senator? Raymond, you're insane. Talking to politicians? Where do you think that's going to get you?
Well, it might get me a couple of friends in high places and a couple more people to blackmail, if you know what I mean.
I'm glad I came. I think I'll get I'm assuming you have champagne.
Of course. We even got the fancy pink kind if you want it. And the caviar is excellent, if I do say so myself.
Excellent. She kind of glances around the room. I'll take that table over there. And behind her are two pretty large gentlemen on either side of her as they walk up. And she doesn't have to tell them anything. They simply walk into the room and remove anyone who's at the table that she wants. They're not as big as Cesar, but they're pretty big dudes. And people kind of get up politely and quickly.
I think Kallie already clocked her and like made the bartender stop serving anybody else and has champagne brought over as soon as she picks that table and then just sits back in her seat.
Excellent. I think she's gonna clock that as she kind of like walks in. She kind of gives you a nod, Raymond, and walks to her table, sits down, and as the champagne comes to her, she kind of looks over at the bar and sees Kallie standing next to it, and she kind of gives you a small smile as she takes her champagne.
Kallie gives like a nod and like a half wave. It's a little awkward.
The night continues. Fatima's having an excellent time. She seems to be laughing. She's even allowed just two people. I was going to say a couple, but really like one or two people at a time to come over to her so that she can grace them with her presence, of course. And she's going to sit there for the night and have a good party. And you guys are welcome to interact with her throughout the night. As that is happening, you also see Melinda pop in. Now, this is Mrs. Russo herself, and she is not really known for frequenting these parties. They're a bit too busy for her. So, Raymond, you would assume that she's not planning to stay. She's doing a pop-in, pop-out type of situation. You know, I want to make sure I'm seen. I didn't get an invite. It's polite type of situation. So you see her pop in. Surprisingly, she is actually wearing a fairly not drab, but it's not that spectacular of a dress. It's long, but there's not a slit, there's no sparkles. It's just kind of plain, like a dark blue, and she's wearing a shawl over her that you would wear mostly outside, but it looks like, you know, she's just popping in to say hello. But she kind of looks over at you, Raymond, as literally everyone in the room looks over and sees Melinda Russo herself attend Raymond's party, even if it's for a moment. But she doesn't look anyone else in the eye but Raymond.
I will sweep over to her, and I was prepared just in case Miss Russo came. I have a gift to give her. Oh, Miss Russo, it is just a pleasure to have you here, even if for the briefest of moments. And I will kiss her hand and slip into it a beautiful brooch that is a rose with like little rubies on the rose part and like emeralds down the stem.
She looks at your gift and looks at you and gives you a small smile. Mr. King, king of the city, should I say. You look good.
Oh, thank you. I do try to dress to impress.
Oh, she's kind of looking around the room. You can tell on her face, she doesn't look like she's having any fun. She has like a very tiny smile on and she's looking at you extremely condescendingly.
I know it's a bit ostentatious, but I do have a private room upstairs if you'd like a more quiet party.
Oh, no. I can't stay. So busy, as you know. But
I totally understand, ma'am.
I wanted to pop in, make sure you're doing all right. How's she kind of giggles, family? And she's talking about your crew.
Oh, the family, they're growing every day. See vast improvements in each one of them as we grow.
She kind of narrows her eyes at you. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, I won't keep you. I'm sure you have lots to do as the host of this shindig.
I do, but I always have time for you, Miss Russo. Keep us in mind the next time you need a tour.
Oh, Raymond. Don't you worry. You are never far from my mind.
So lovely to hear that.
She puts out her hand again just to kind of like squeeze yours and then turns to walk out. Just as she's walking out, someone you really didn't expect to show up does show up. And you notice something very interesting. And so I want you to roll to see if you notice something more. But as Melinda walks out and this person walks in, you notice that not only do they not even look at one another, but they literally pass each other through the door frame as if the other doesn't even exist. They don't touch one another. They don't look at one another. It's as if the other person is regarding the other individual as nobody. Very interesting, seeing as how this person is Rudolph Volkov himself.
Whoa.
And he walks in.
What would you like me to roll?
As he walks in, you can either do a brains roll as he walks in, or you can wait to talk to him and maybe do charm.
I will wait to do charm, I think.
Okay.
Is there a way I can use my body language skill with this roll if we get there?
Yeah. You could have still used it. Did you want to use it before Melinda fully walks out the room? You haven't talked to anybody yet.
Ooh, I mean, yeah. If I can clock what's going on with them by just their body language, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
So am I using brains then for the...
Yeah, if you're not talking to them and you're just trying to determine it, you can maybe do charm if you want to get both of their attention. So you can either see both of their faces or see both their reactions. But if there's absolutely no connection, then I'm gonna say brains.
How do I don't want to offend Russo by drawing attention to Rudolph before she leaves. So I think I won't talk to Rudolph until Russo's completely out of the room.
Okay, then yeah,
Rudolph.
It's gonna be brains. DC is just gonna be a 10.
But I can use my body language dice with that, right?
Yes.
Which is a D4. Not great. +1. That's a 5 total.
Okay. Well, I'll say what you see on a 5 is something you probably could have already seen, but perhaps it gives you a little more context. Obviously, you and Melinda were kind of going back and forth with the mean girl shtick there, but you can catch as she turns from you to walk to the door and Rudolph comes in, as you're still looking at her, you can kind of catch on her face, she really is trying to keep an absolute stone cold face as if she doesn't even see Rudolph, and vice versa. It's as if they literally are pretending they can't even see one another.
Something went down. Okay. Well, when she leaves, then I'll offer my hand to Rudolph for a handshake.
She walks
and
out
start-
and he walks in. And Rudolph is a very tall, very attractive man. He's a little bit older than you, like maybe a year or 2 years, but he has a shaved head that is already kind of salt and pepper. And he is actually wearing a velvet red suit along with like tan leather boots or shoes. He looks very dapper, gold cufflinks, and a black tie. He loves his outfits. This is most likely some sort of like really nice brand. And he is sort of like adjusting himself. You also notice that he's by himself. Melinda came with her guards, but they stood at the door until she left. Fatima came with her guards. Rudolph doesn't seem to have guards with him. But he also looks extremely like comfortable and nonchalant. He also looks like he's had a couple of drinks already. And so he's looking happy. So he kind of looks over at you and kind of smiles. Raymond! And he even like puts his arms out to hug you.
I will shake his hand and do the like hug clasp thing.
Love it. He allows the rebuff, but he sort of really holds your hand like a little too like clearly he's been drinking a lot and he's a little sappy happy, but he kind of holds your arm, and instead of like giving you a handshake, he actually clasps your forearm, and he's like, oh, come on.
As he does that, I'll like pull him in for like a bro hug, like with the arm between us type thing.
Okay, he'll do that with you. And he's already laughing. He hasn't said anything, but he's just kind of like, oh, good to see you. You look good. Is this a new suit? Is that a new tie? Are you doing something different?
Well, you know it is. I love my good outfits, just like you, my friend. Looking so sick. What's the celebration about tonight? I mean, besides the new year, what you got going on here, Rudolph?
Well, from what I can tell, every place I've been, champagne's been free, my friend.
That's a good reason to celebrate.
He kind of looks over at the bar and kind of like puts his hand up, and he is looking at you, Kallie, and he essentially snaps his fingers at you twice as a command without saying anything to get him some drinks. And then he looks back at Raymond.
Yep, Kallie just smiles, says something to the bartenders, so better get him some champagne, and just takes it
Raymond,
in, doesn't react negatively.
Raymond does like a thumbs down to Kallie to try and be like, don't give him the good shit.
Yeah, so then Kallie says, oh wait, no, not the high end.
He's already drunk, he won't know the difference.
Yeah, the cheap stuff, yes.
Hilarious. He continues to he finishes up holding your hand, and he's just like, well, good to see you. We have another year of, action, so to speak, but for today, you're a friend. And he kind of smirks at you.
Wow. Aren't we always good friends now, Rudolph? Come on.
What
you got going on?
He kind of laughs, and you see one of his fangs pop out because he has like larger canines. But his smile is so big that it kind of like curls up his eyes, and even without rolling, his answer is absolutely not. We're not friends. Like, haha, that's good. That's funny. No. But he didn't say that. That's just what you see on his face.
Is there a way I can do a charm roll to try and get him to tell me what's going on?
Yeah. What are you wanting to do? And then I'll let you know what the DC is. Like, how are you wanting to get this info out of him?
Well, I wanna, once the bartender comes over with drinks, I'll take one too and start drinking, quote unquote, with him.
Mm-hmm.
And just be like, so I saw the cold shoulder from the boss, eh? What's up with that, see?
The drinks come over, he grabs downs it in like 2 seconds, and then puts it back on the tray. What happened? What boss?
Miss Russo. You don't see her as a boss no more, Rudolph.
How loud do you say that?
Oh, well, it's just the two of us drinking, so I wouldn't say it super loud.
Okay. I'm gonna roll a d4 to see if anyone in your vicinity has big ears, and you can try and do something to say that, either a little quieter or unless you just want to say it with your regular voice.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
It's a party. I'm not expecting to like be talking super quiet if I need to be heard, but like I'm also not yelling it.
Okay. I will say that he kind of looks at you at that, and then before he answers, he shifts his eyes around to like see if anyone heard you say that. And then he kind of looks at you and he's like, not sure what you're implying, King. And he sort of sneers that at you. We're very good friends, as always.
Okay, just observing the atmosphere.
Well, it's a party. Observe away. And he kind of slaps you on your side, on the side of your shoulder, and then he is gonna walk away.
Okay.
Rudolph comes in. He's making his way through the crowd. People are trying to talk to him, but you all can kind of tell that people are also trying to stay away from him. He has a bit of a volatile personality. And so some people are like, oh, hey, and other people are just like, Fatima is one of those people, as he kind of comes to her table, grabbing another drink. So anyone around, I would say probably Raymond is closest and Liv is closest, if you want to see if you can catch what's going on as he walks over to Fatima's table.
Absolutely, I do, yes.
Okay.
It's gonna scoot my
Oh,
little
roll
gaggle
with
of people a little bit closer.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay, Raymond.
I'm always interested in what the bosses are up to.
Good stuff.
Yeah, Kallie will come over.
From across the room.
Okay, and Caesar's watching. Okay. I think from across the room, Cesar, if you're not coming in, you can kind of catch the body language of everyone, but you won't be able to hear them, obviously. Liv, if you're moving closer, you'll be able to hear them. Raymond, they're far enough away to where the cacophony of other people you wouldn't really be able to hear, but you can kind of keep an eye looking over, and you'll also kind of catch body language. Kallie, how far are you coming in? Enough to hear?
Trying to be able to hear, yeah.
Okay. So I'll say that Kallie and Liv are close enough to overhear, but Raymond is, or not Raymond, Rudolph is going to kind of fully lean in like over the table to talk to Fatima very closely because he intentionally doesn't want to be overheard. So let's see who catches what. Let's start with the people who are farther away to see what body language as they have this conversation or they have this back and forth with Cesar and Raymond. Both of you can roll. Let me actually have you both roll brains. DC is going to be 6 since you're both really paying attention.
Can I roll plus my body language skill? Cool. 2 plus 3. That's 8.
Very nice. Caesar?
Oh, sorry. I thought I was not involved in this for a second because I was so far away. What was that rolling?
You're reading body language of everyone.
Yes. Wait
Brain.
a second. Yeah, brain. I'm curious if hunting instinct applies at all. Probably not.
Are you trying to do something?
Well, it's more I'm just trying to make sure that they're not going to try and do something.
Yeah, that applies. And so we'll say that you're
Alright.
specifically looking at the entire group. Raymond, you're specifically
Yeah, but you said brains, right? Great. 4 plus something. So, and then using the hunting instinct, how does that apply again?
roll a d4.
Okay, another d4. 1, 5 total.
Okay, DC was 6. So I'll start with Cesar. You see Liv kind of, shimmying her way over there. Clearly she's taking an interest and wants to kind of listen in. You also kind of see Raymond kind of like still being the gracious host, but his eyes are darting over there. So you're clear. It's clear that this is something that they want to like pay attention to. And then you also see Kallie kind of move from her position to kind of get a little closer. She's sort of working the room, but mainly working to get closer to Fatima and Rudolph. You also see Rudolph lean over and talk to Fatima, and you notice that her guards don't budge. So they don't seem threatened by this interaction.
Before we continue on, I realized that the dice explode, correct?
Yeah.
And I rolled a 4 on my d4 of brain.
Oh, yeah.
So I then rolled it again and rolled another d4 and rolled another d4. So that's actually actually a 13.
Okay. Well, you see that, and then we'll come back to you to give you more information. But that's kind of like your base.
Sorry, I just didn't want to interrupt, but also was like, oh, this is probably
That's
relevant.
okay. But that's what you see as people begin to congregate. So we'll say that. And then I'll give you more as the conversation progresses. So then, Raymond, you got what did you get?
Oh, sorry. I got an 8.
You got an 8, so that's over the DC of 6. I'm gonna say you see literally the same thing that Cesar sees, everything that I just noted. You also see, though, that same weird thing that happened with Melinda and Rudolph when he first came in that they were kind of they completely avoided eye contact. They were kind of acting like they couldn't even see each other. You also see Fatima's guards do that. Not only do they not move, which is what Cesar sees as well, but they also don't even look at Rudolph. In fact, it seems like they're intentionally trying to look anywhere else, but bring any type of attention to this whole situation.
Did something happen? Would we know about something happening to excommunicate Rudolph?
I'll say with your brains roll, you can't think of anything of why this weird interaction is happening. You kind of go back in your log of memories and you're like, something happened. Am I missing something? Did I miss a memo but no, you from what you can remember, you have no idea why this is happening, what's going on.
Weird. Okay.
Same thing with you, Cesar. You also wouldn't really have any idea why this would happen. And you also, I would say, you understand, though, why your crew members are interested, because you also clocked the interaction between Rudolph and Raymond, and you could see Rudolph's face. And so Rudolph doesn't like Raymond. And so it's odd that he would even come to this party drunk and be so handsy. It was weird. It was weird. So that's what you guys see for now. Liv and Kallie. Liv, how close are you at this point as you've kind of shuffled over?
I am close enough that if I feel like there is an interesting moment for me to conveniently detach myself from my group, it wouldn't be super weird for me to just happen to be at their table.
Okay. What about you, Kallie?
I think Callie's decided this time she needs to bring the good stuff to Fatima herself. And so it's it just happened to be while y'all are talking.
Perfect. Okay, so you two are both descending on the actual table. So yeah. I'll say at some point you'll get close enough to hear at least a little bit what they're saying. I'll say, Liv, you're going to get close enough to kind of hear more what Rudolph is saying as he's leaned over the table as you're going towards the table. And Kallie, since you're specifically trying to get Fatima's attention, I think a guard would move out of the way so that you could bring her champagne. So perhaps you'd be able to see. So I think you guys would actually get a good idea together of what the conversation is. But let's see how well that goes. This is going to be a flat roll. And I'm going to say for both of you, because you're kind of pretending, it's going to be charm.
Oh no.
Amazing.
However, Kallie, yours is going to be a little lower because you're trying to basically charm the bodyguard. And he's not going to really know who you are. Liv, you're trying to socialite your way to the table, get an invite. So who wants to go first? Or do we want to do both together? What are we doing?
Together, okay. Wow, that did not go well.
Oh, that's an 11.
Oh, okay. Check if you can add any abilities.
I don't think so. We only have our first criminal mastery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that won't help me here.
I mean, can I use my psychological body language?
Yep.
Okay, let's see. That's a 5 total.
Okay. Did I say the DC? I didn't say the DC, but yours was...
I rolled a 1 on my D4 for charm.
Bodyguard was 4, so it's not that big of a deal. You did pass it. And then both Rudolph Rudolph is going to actually do an opposed. He is also a D20 in charm. And then Fatima, though, she's going to be lower. So she's going to be a DC of 6, which you well passed. So let's see what happens when you come to the table with Rudolph. Oh, okay. So, Kallie, you come up to the table from like the left as you're coming from the bar. The guard sees you and kind of takes a step back just so you have access to, so that Fatima can see you, so that she can see you're bringing her champagne. Rudolph is leaned over and he's kind of not whispering in her ear, but he's close enough to where you have to be pretty close to hear him. And Liv, you have found your way at the table as well. And just before you kind of talk out loud, you both kind of hear different things. Kallie, as the guard moves out of the way, you, number one, see that Fatima has a look on her face of, I'm going to say, restrained disgust. It's a face of, I don't want to make a scene, but I want to stab you in the heart. That's the look you're getting off of her face, right?
Okay.
As Rudolph is kind of way too close to her. But she doesn't move, and she seems to be listening to what he's saying until he finishes what he's saying, and she just goes, fascinating. And she sort of looks over at you to grab her champagne. As he's bending over, you both kind of hear him talk something about the rats. And he says something like, you know, rats are really taking over the city these days. Wonder if your cats can help out. And he kind of like laughs at that as if it's some sort of internal joke that she does not find funny. Then he makes like a vulgar joke that, again, she doesn't find funny. And when he sees you, Kallie, come with champagne, he grabs a glass, even though it's not for him, and looks over at Liv as Liv, you come up and see them both interacting. You can kind of see that, this is for Liv particularly, you can kind of see that Fatima, even before she looks at you, she kind of looks up at her guard, and you see her guard put his hand in his pocket, and she kind of then looks at you, and she smiles at you.
I think, yeah, I'm gonna come up and link arms with Rudolph and be like, Rudolph, how could you come all this way to this party and not say hi to me first? I have this most amazing group of people over here. You should come meet them. And kind of try and lead him away from Fatima.
He is downing this champagne that he has in his hand, and he kind of looks over at you, and he goes, Liv, oh my gosh, you're still with this ragtag crew? I've told you, anytime you want something better, you know where to find it.
Oh, aren't you the sweetest thing? You know I like to keep my options open. But I'll tell you what, I'll be yours for tonight.
I'm going to roll for him. I'm going to roll brains. See if he really wants to think about this a little longer. And his DC is going to be high because he's pretty drunk. Okay. Yeah, he lets you pull him away.
As I am leading him away, I'm going to kind of glance back and just like wink at Fatima. Like, I got you.
You look back at Fatima and you don't necessarily see that she's particularly happy about this. She kind of actually is looking at you kind of coldly, but trying to mask it as politeness. So sort of just trying to have a general no emotion on her face, but she also kind of looks annoyed.
Awesome.
And Kallie, you are still standing there and you can now also see that Fatima, as she takes her drink, even though she's been sipping her champagne all night, she downs hers and kind of looks at you and goes, I think I'll have a bottle of whiskey, darling.
Yeah, we can do that.
The whole bottle.
Yep, I figured. What a blowhard.
Do you say that to her?
Yeah.
She kind of immediately lightens up a little bit and kind of like laughs. Like, well, yeah. Yes, he is.
Yeah, I'll see what Raymond has behind the bar.
The night is getting early in the morning. It's about 4:30 a.m. At this point, there's still a few musicians, playing some very calming music. There's a couple of people still lounging on some of the furniture. Rudolph has long gone after being able to be entertained long enough by Liv. And Fatima is also ready to leave. She's sort of like getting herself together. I'll say that Raymond in particular, since you've been kind of paying attention to everyone the whole night, you kind of noticed that even though Fatima has been here and she kind of stayed for quite a long time, you get a feeling like it was still a weird interaction. She kind of just came, sat at that table, drank a bit, then switched to whiskey, but she also just kind of, that was all she did for the whole night. Go ahead and roll. Well, actually, no. As she leaves, you can talk to her and you can roll to kind of determine something. But she's going to kind of start to head out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll head her off at the pass and just kind of take her arm as she's leaving, just kind of help her get out the door and just be like, Fatima, darling, it was so good to see you again. I don't know where this accent is going.
That's okay. Thank you, King. Sweetheart. She kind of looks down for a moment, but then looks back up at you as she kind of catches that her mood had changed there for a second, but she quickly caught it. It's been a long night, but you threw a hell of a party.
I aim to please, see? I love to see my guests enjoying themselves. I hope Rudolph's company didn't bother you so much.
Her face kind of breaks again, and she kind of sneers. She's like, no, he's nobody. Being annoying and believing himself to be charming, as always.
Don't you hate men when they do that?
Go ahead and roll a charm.
Yeah.
DC is going to be, I'm going to say she's on her guard, but actually it's going to be opposed because
I use my enhanced charisma for this roll?
Is that your...
That's my criminal mastery.
Okay. Yes.
Great.
It's going to be 15.
I got a 21.
You realize two things as she kind of smiles at you and then begins to walk out. She's walking slowly because as she walks out the door, she's kind of like looking around, like outside of the door, kind of like inside, almost as if she's pretending like it's kind of like nonchalant. But it's very clear now that you kind of see her and now that you put it two and two together of her just coming in and sitting at one table and really not interacting with people for very, very much, just a few people and drinking. It's clear she came here and she was waiting for someone. And she's leaving a bit disappointed that they didn't show up.
And there's like one more faction in the city, isn't there? Who's our last one?
Fira. Not surprising. She's not a partier.
So I guess I'll lean over and say, Fira, I gave her an invitation, but, she's a bit of a recluse.
She kind of looks at you surprised. Her?
Yeah, of course. I invite all of my good friends, he says as he winks.
She kind of looks you up and down. Well, I wasn't waiting for her anyway, so doesn't matter to me if she didn't show up.
Oh, well then. I'm glad it didn't upset your night.
Thank you again, Raymond. Excellent whiskey.
I always get the best.
She kind of puts her hand out to you to just say hello, goodbye. Take care of yourself. I hear it's going to be a rough year.
Oh, somebody stirring trouble up for my little family here?
She smiles widely and then leaves.
So close.
Finally, it begins to truly dwindle. At this point, the majority of the guests are gone, but there are a couple of stragglers, a few that are unconscious that you might have to poke to get on out of here. But also you realize that the snow really started coming down like 30 minutes ago since like the party really stopped. And it's really coming down hard. So if people want to get out of here, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to get home on time if they don't leave sometime soon. So I would say it's about 4:35 a.m. in the morning. Raymond, how are you closing down the party?
I guess probably like the band would pack up and go home like a little before this. The caterers clean up the cheese and just kind of saying goodbyes to people, and yeah. It's just kind of like the people I paid to be here are leaving, so now everybody else leave.
Yeah, there's like one guy that's been like on that same couch. Let's say he's been talking Liv's ear off for like 30 minutes about absolutely nothing, but clearly he's filthy rich. And he kind of is still talking, and he kind of hears the band stop, and he goes, "Oh, is it over already? So early."
Oh, I know. It's such a drag. But it's getting real cold out there. You might want to get on home.
He puts his arm around you. Well, I could use the warmth.
How rich?
Pretty rich. I'll say he has one of those, like, one of the gold monocles, like, obviously old money.
All right, yeah. Well, sure, honey. I'll keep you warm tonight.
He picks you up, and you both leave. Cesar and Kallie, how are you guys closing down shop?
I'll head over to Raymond and check in with him. Everything go how you wanted tonight?
Oh, well, I can't say. It was weird, Cesar. I feel like there's something brewing, but I can't put my finger on it.
You want me to have the guys out keeping an eye on things?
Yeah. Maybe keep a particular eye on Rudolph.
I can do that. You want me to help shake some of these roofs up and get them out of here?
Yeah. You are the best, Cesar. I should really give you a raise.
You should.
I'll slap him on the back.
Cecil will just go around and just every time he wakes someone up to kick him out, he just gives them the widest grin, knowing that they know who's waking him up.
Yeah. You kind of go around, you kind of nudge a couple of people, they kind of look up and they're like, at first, I think what you first see is absolute fear. And then they calm down and they're like, "Oh no, it was just a party." And they immediately get up and run out. And Kallie.
Kallie will talk to Raymond before she heads out by herself. And just Rudolph had some things to say to Fatima.
Oh, I saw that conversation from over at the door. What was going on?
I only overheard a bit. Rats are really taking over the city. Hope your cats can help. Are we the rats? Is the rats somebody else?
I mean, I'm known to have a rat. Whether that means I'm the rat or not, who knows? But we might want to keep the family a little bit safer for the next couple of days.
Rudolph, make a brains roll. DC is going to be 4. You would most likely know this.
Who's Rudolph?
Raymond. My
I
gosh.
think you mean Raymond.
I don't keep doing this.
I rolled an 8.
Very good.
Oh wait, does that mean it explodes because it's a D8?
Is that your max?
That's my technically it's a 9 because I get a +1. But yeah, that's my max for brains.
Yep, you explode.
So I rolled. Oh, I did it again. 8 again. So that's 16, 17, and that's a 4. 21.
Jeez. Okay. Well, you know exactly what. Yeah, it went from like
his social security number.
Little hint. So you, from what Kallie tells you, exactly how she told you, saying that Rudolph specifically said that the rats are taking over the city, kind of goading Fatima with what seemed to be like an insult and like joking and not in a fun way, saying that he hopes her cats can help. And then also just from base off of like their tension that Kallie kind of conveyed to you that they had, you know that Fatima actually has 7 cats. Well,
like physical cats, like cats, or like
no, because your roll was so high, so damn high. Not only do you know that, does she have 7 or she have 5? I think she has 7. No, she has 7. Not only do you know she has 7 cats, but you also know that she calls them cats and everyone calls them cats, but they are not house cats. They are actually wild, domesticated jaguars.
Ooh.
That she keeps on her property, and they act as like sentinels and guards for the property. So you know that.
Okay.
You also know that Rudolph he doesn't really run in the sewers, but he knows about the sewers. And so when he says that rats are taking over the city, you go back in your brain and you think, like, who's he referring to? And the only people you could assume he's referring to is the left hand, because they tend to use the tunnels that the rum runners use. They also are often
Oh.
people that you call when you need like that type of work done, you know, where you don't want to get like your hands dirty, or you need a bunch of people who aren't affiliated with any of the other groups doing some dirty work. They also are kind of known from everybody else as disposable. So you can be like, go here and do that. And if none of them come back, no one cares.
Okay. So he's saying that the left hand might be making a play for people's territory, maybe?
What I'm going to say is that's the only group you can assume he's talking about if he's using rats as a name for like another group. Like you don't think it would be any of the other main crews and families.
Cool.
The reason why he's antagonizing Fatima, though, he did have a really high roll, but I don't think you would understand why that happened still.
Yeah. It seems like an internal struggle that I don't know. So I'll tell Kallie, well, see, I think maybe they're talking about the left hand. They've been sneaking around in the sewers.
Yeah, I thought she was about to draw blood, so stab it.
Rudolph, he does not inspire charm in the lady folk. He's kind of an asshole.
He has a way with the ladies, but it is not the way that.
It's not a good one.
No.
Well,
Very nice.
I guess we might have to keep an eye on Rudolph and maybe the left hand if they're making a play.
Yeah, it is good to know that. I mean, who isn't making a play at some point? But
That's
I
fair.
know the specifics.
All right. Kallie, you make your way out. Liv has already left. And Cesar and Raymond are the last ones. Cesar, do you make your way home?
Yeah, I'll just give him a nod and anything else you need from me before I go.
No, Cesar. Go enjoy your evening.
What's left of you?
I guess your morning then.
Hey, I'll go grab a few wings and I'll get on things. Touch base.
Good man.
Hey, well, have a good night.
Bye.
As you all make your way out, someone else has to leave, right? And go home or be dismissed. So we'll actually start backwards with Liv. As you leave with Mr. Moneybags, there is someone waiting to be dismissed. And so I want you to roll 2d4 and give me your first and second number.
First number is a 2. Second number is a 4.
Second number is a 4. Perfect. Who is this person and what do they look like? What's their name?
Their name is Lawrence, and they look like a very sweet little old grandpa.
Love it.
Like and very like a well-dressed, dapper grandpa.
Has he just been chilling all day, or has he been partying?
He's been chilling for most of it, but at midnight he did do a really just fantastic grandpa dance.
A really great what?
Like just a fantastic peak grandfather dance.
I see. He got into the groove around midnight. Love it.
Since then, he appears to have been sleeping in a corner.
Of course. And that is where he kind of is, but he knows, he can always tell, when you're about to make your way out. So he sort of does like big stretch, and you can hear literally all of his bones cracking as he stands up, and he sort of like cracks his back and he kind of looks at you. Are we leaving, miss?
Oh, Lawrence, you go on home.
Okay. And instead of leaving, he just crumples back onto the floor to go to sleep.
Perfect.
Kallie, as you were leaving, can you go ahead and roll 2d4?
That's a 1 and a 2.
Lovely. And what is this person's name and what do they look like? Who's waiting for you?
This is Eric, a very a tall and attractive blonde man who isn't great with English yet. Kallie just refers to him as her cousin, but he doesn't talk very much, just really to her in Swedish. So
he is waiting. He knows that you're about to go home, but he is simply just waiting for you to give him whatever instruction you'd like to give him for the end of the day.
Yeah, she'll kind of look at the weather and say, it's snowing quite a bit. Need you to shovel the walks to both the theater and the tour company tomorrow, even though it's not open. She's asked him to do those sorts of things. So, yeah. So
Okay.
she will give him shoveling duties.
Okay. As you're saying everything to him, he is virulently kind of like nodding, like his eyes are locked onto yours. He is very like intense in terms of like, yes, okay, okay. As you kind of walk away, everyone else in the room can kind of see that this person is about to leave, and he kind of goes behind like a little, what's it called? Like the window drapery, and pulls out a snow shovel and then continues to walk out the door. Cesar,
Hi.
oh yes, you have talked to Raymond and you are also moving out of the space. What are your 2 die?
A 2 and a 3.
And just as you're about to go out for the rest of the day, there is someone waiting for you as well. And what's this person's name and what do they look like?
This would be Seamus McMahon. He's dressed up a lot nicer than he normally is. He's a young guy in like his mid 20. Oh, actually, no. Make him like 18, 17, 18. He's like a young, late teenager. And he's dressed up really nice because I had him here for the party. But usually he's dressed in like more dirty clothes, mud. He's one of the guys who's just out and about on the town. And usually one of my like go between like lower class or the homeless of the city and me. He's my go between guy. But I wanted him here, so I was able to get him like a nicer suit and help him clean up for tonight.
Very nice. Did you allow him to have any alcohol?
No, I need him sharp.
Okay. Then that is exactly what he is. He's sort of like, he's actually trying to like mimic your stance of like shoulders back, and he sort of has his hands clasped in front of him. And he's like, what would you like? What are we doing next, boss? Do you need me to do things?
Yeah, let your boys know that we want to keep an eye on Rudy best you can. Of course, don't get caught doing it, but keep an eye out.
Cool.
Bring me whatever information you got on the other heads. Something's going down between Rudy and Fatima.
As you're talking, he takes out a little flip book and starts writing in it. Don't get caught, Fatima. Okay. Then he looks at you.
You're dismissed.
Oh, right. Okay. And he just awkwardly turns around and walks out. Raymond, finally, everyone is out of your house. Obviously, the place is an absolute mess, but obviously everyone had a good time. The band is kind of like shaking your hand, saying thank you, as I'm assuming you're saying goodbye to all of the employees or people who came and threw your party with you personally. And then finally, one last person remains as everyone else has left. And what is the name of this person? What do they look like?
Her name is Betty Bop, and she's dressed as one of the hot serving girls. But her true talent is for assassinations. She is my personal bodyguard that makes sure I am very, very safe all times. So yeah, her specialty is knives, for sure.
I forgot to have
Sure.
you roll your 2d4.
Oh yeah, that's a 1 and a 3.
Interesting. Okay, very nice. And does she usually help you like clean up, or is she done?
No, she is more of the like, I disappear into the night, but I'm definitely still watching all exits type person. So she's not here to actually serve. She did 0 like serving girl duties. She just looked like one the whole time.
Okay, great. As you turn to kind of look at her, as you're kind of like looking around the space, and she was there one minute, dressed in her little getup, and then when you turn back to her a second later, she's now wearing like a 2-piece like suit type of situation with heels, and she's kind of looking at you. Anything else, sir?
No, Betty. Well, that'll be all for the night. Just keep an extra eye on the place. A little worried.
Go to bed.
Big mood.
Yes, we should all go to bed.
She says.
Just keep an extra eye on the loft tonight, or this morning, I guess. Seems like there's a bit of killing some rats going on, and I don't want to be one of them.
Absolutely, sir. Would you like me to turn down Doris's bed for you?
No, I'll do it. She likes me to sing her special song.
Okay. She kind of takes out a pair of gloves, like winter gloves, and like puts those on. And instead of walking out the door, she definitely is going to like probably climb out the window and like stake herself on the outside of your hotel room. Okay. So you all have had a wild night, and that was a great night and day. And now we are back to the present as you all are seeing that the little bit of snow that was starting on New Year's Eve, New Year's Eve party up to New Year's Day has become a full blizzard. So the snow is going to eventually stop this day, but it's not melting that much. It's actually kind of turning into like tightly packed ice. But, what are you going to do? There's work to do. As you all know, the biggest shipment of the year, which is on December 25th every year, is going to come up faster than you realize. So you all need to be making sure that you keep your title of bearer of that shipment. And you know that every year it's a bit of a fight to keep that title, as well as keep your territories, organized and safe, and continue your recruitment. So the party's over. Now the work is started. Where are you all in the next coming hours on this, what would be considered a work day? Would you all kind of meet or something else?
I think if it's an actual work day, I think I'd at least go into the touring office with all the paperwork that I had from the party to make sure it is secured in the office safe.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that makes sense. The assumption is that because it's a work day, even though there is a bit of a blizzard, not many places shut down around here, in Chicago for even a blizzard, unless it's a really, really bad one. And it looks to you like people are walking around later in the afternoon. We'll say it's like mid-morning afternoon at this point. So places should be open or opening. So you would assume you have a schedule, tourists to come in and other things to do. So Raymond is heading to the office. And I'll say that we'll see actually who gets there first. Are we all heading to the office, or is anyone doing anything before they go to the office?
Liv would have had breakfast with her new sugar daddy and tried to get more jewelry out of him, and then would have headed into the office.
Absolutely. Perfect. Cesar and Kallie?
I know Cesar, he usually will sweep down by the docks, just see how the fishermen and the workers are doing before coming over to the office. Gets up pretty early.
Okay.
Yeah, Kallie would head there after like a breakfast at home.
Very nice. Okay, let's roll. There's 4 of you. Let's have everybody roll a d4. See who gets there first.
3.
2.
3.
1.
Kallie, you arrive, and it's obviously freezing outside, but you felt colder. But it is freezing outside, but the door has kind of frozen shut a little bit. So you have to, give it a little bit of muscle to get it open. But once you do get it open and closed and go in, everything is as you remember it the last time you were in here. Lights are off. It's freezing cold in here. And there's a front desk for your receptionist. And then there's the little tourist area where the front receptionist area is, where there's like a bunch of pamphlets and stuff like that. And then, of course, there's the back areas where you all would meet and things like that. So as you go into that area, what does this look like? Is it just a meeting space? Is it like another bigger office? What is the place where you guys would meet regularly look like?
Oh, so our actual meeting room. I think there's options for sitting on comfier things based on certain people's tastes in the group. But there's also a round table that we all sit at together. But there's also several armchairs and a sofa. That's quite nice.
Very nice. You go in and you're kind of in the main meeting room, turning on the lights there, and you hear the door open to the front room.
I'll probably just still be, I don't know, reading the newspaper, assuming it's one of them.
You kind of hear like the pitter patter of like heels. They're like walking very quickly, and you kind of hear some shuffling as someone is walking around in the main reception area.
Okay. Well, Callie's curious now because this isn't all like Liv. She doesn't move this quickly this early in the morning.
Correct.
So Kallie will slowly approach the main room to see what's going on, or like the reception area.
Okay. You kind of open the door to the meeting room into the reception area, and you see that the lights are on, and there is kind of a bundle of a person that's bundled with coats and hats and scarves and gloves, like several on this person, but you can kind of just see the little tiny sliver of feet where they're wearing red heels, and they are in front of the radiator, like starting it up as they're like shivering, and they're getting that done. But they hear the door open as you kind of come into the reception area, and this person turns around. She's a young woman, and she kind of takes her hats off, and it is the receptionist for the tourist agency.
Oh.
What's her name? Let's give her a name. Who would we like to name all of your receptionists? The receptionist at the tourist attraction and agency.
Mildred.
Millie for short.
Oh, that's cute.
Millie for short. So cute.
I like that. She kind of looks at you and she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry, boss. I didn't know you were in. Oh my god, it's so freezing outside."
Apologies, Millie. I should have done this for you. I
No.
I know how cold you are.
No, it's fine. As she's like tapping from one radiator to the next radiator, like making sure they're on and turning them on, and she's like taking off layers. I really didn't think it was going to be this cold in here this morning. And she kind of looks up and down at you. Are you wearing a lot of winter gear?
Not a ton. We can kind of keep a bit of the mirror where it's a much lighter coat than you would expect for it to be like in the negative.
Yeah. She kind of clocks this and she's just kind of like, "I don't know how you can stand this weather. I am literally dying of frostbite." And she kind of pulls up her hands, and they are like really, really pale and like red. And she's like shivering. She's like, I don't know if I can take
Well,
another
if
day. It's cold."
you're raised on an iceberg, then you just this is it's just not that cold. So
she starts to unravel herself, taking off her scarves and putting them down. "I'm gonna get you want some coffee? I can make some coffee, or I can make some hot chocolate."
I mean, we're all meeting, so it would be good if you made everybody's favorites.
Oh, she kind of her back straightens. Is Mr. Raymond gonna be here?
Why yes.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah, okay. I'll make some coffee. And you see her run into the back to make coffee for everybody. One by one, we'll say Liv and Cesar, because you both had 3s. Raymond, you had a 2.
I did have a 2, yeah.
Okay, we'll say Raymond finally, or you arrive second, and then Cesar and Liv arrive at the same time. So Raymond, you come in. It's starting to warm up, but it's still really cold in here because the radiators kind of just got turned on. And the first person I say you'll see as you walk in is Kallie, unless you've walked back into the meeting room.
Well, do we have like a back entrance, or is the front entrance the only one?
There might be a back entrance. You can have one.
Yeah, I think because he has the papers he thinks are pretty important, he would come in the back entrance for a little more secrecy of him being here, right?
Sure.
This second, until he can get those papers into a safe.
What do you walk into when you walk in the back entrance?
I think the back entrance just kind of leads to a hallway, which leads to like a couple of different offices, and one of them is his that has like a false picture frame or something in there that has the safe behind it.
Okay, I'll say that you come in through the back and you go probably to your room or your office while Kallie is still in the front area. And Cesar and Liv, you two make it.
If we arrive at the same time, I feel like there's probably a stalemate at the door, because Cesar just doesn't open doors for people.
Unacceptable. Yeah, no, Liv will just stand there Good morning, Cesar. How are you?
Doing fine today. It's a little brisk out, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Do you like my new coat?
Yeah, he's a little flashy.
Well, that's the point.
He's a pretty bad point.
So are you gonna... She just kind of like gesture at the door.
He goes in, but then just kind of lets it slam behind him.
She's gonna stand out there and be like, Kallie!
Is the receptionist at her desk?
No, she would think of
Oh.
Yeah, Liv is plaintively calling for Kallie, hoping she's in there. Kallie!
Callie's probably used to this and like puts down the paper, walks over to the door. Good morning, Liv.
Good morning, Kallie. How are you, darling?
Quite tired. Quite the party.
Oh yeah, wasn't it fun?
I find those events not very fun. Quite stressful.
Oh, that's a shame.
You would describe it as fun.
Oh, absolutely. The people, the glitz, the glamour, the gossip. What's
The
not to like?
politics, the people moving in on each other's territories, the people who don't get along with each other showing up.
Oh, well, that's just like every other day, but at least we got champagne at the party.
This is true.
Anyway, dear, thank you so much for being a gentle lady and opening the door, unlike someone else I could think of. Kind of like flouncers
Caesar's
in,
just
like,
standing by the fire, kind of ignoring you both.
honestly, one of these days I'll teach him manners.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. Your support is so meaningful to me.
Yeah. Do you think we could have you perform again at the theater?
Sure, anytime.
Okay. Yeah, we have like a comedy showcase coming up. So yeah, if you're interested, I can maybe make you the headliner.
Perfect. You know I do like to be at the top of the billing.
Oh, always. I'm quite aware.
Well, you
As
just
you
let me know
three-
when.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just let me know when. I'll be
Right.
there.
I will.
As you three are kind of in the main area, Raymond, what are you doing in the office, and when are you gonna come and meet with the others?
I think he just wants to get those papers into the safe, so he like beelines it for that, unlocks it, puts all the stuff in there, and then locks it again, closes up the picture frame, and then heads into the meeting room where he expects everybody to be.
Perfect.
And he'll like walk in, lots of gravitas, lots of grandeur, kiss Liv on the cheek. I hope that old geezer gave you a whole shit ton of money, babe.
Oh, he did, and he continues to.
That's my girl. So, everybody, what is the deal? Have we found anything out about what the fuck was up with Rudolph?
As you say loudly, what the fuck was up with Rudolph? Millie she's backing up as she's kind of like opening the door behind her with a big old tray of coffee and all the fixins for coffee. There's like little cream things and everything. And she kind of comes in. Kallie, you will notice this. When she first came, she was definitely not wearing like a little lipstick and a little eyeliner, but she now has that on. And she sort of just looks at everyone. Good morning, everybody. I have coffee. And she walks all the way around the table so that she can sit it in front of wherever Raymond is standing.
Raymond will help her put the coffee down and arrange it all nice and give her a little wink. Ah, Millie, you're a lifesaver, doll.
Thank you. She kind of looks at everyone else. I will go and get today's charter. If you need anything, just let me know, and I'll be right back. And she kind of just looks at Raymond and then looks at everyone else and then walks out. And she's going to go to her desk and basically get the clipboard that tells you what stuff you should have planned for today. But she'll be a couple of minutes.
So,
Oh, but I
Cesar,
will
did the
say-
boys...
Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
I will say Millie is not necessarily a member of the crew. She understands that you guys do things, but she's not an inner person.
Okay.
She has like family who's part of the crew, you know, she has brothers and stuff like that. But so if you were to say certain things, you would want to be careful. Just, you know, you don't think she would be disloyal, but you also don't know if she knows what to keep to herself.
That's fair. All right. While she's gone, Cesar, did the boys find anything?
Did any of the boys get back to me on my walk through the wharf?
Let's see. How many did you send out?
I told my companion, I told Seamus to talk to the boys. So just whoever he's contacted and whoever's gotten back to him or gotten back to me.
Oh, you told Seamus. Okay.
I told him to reach out to some guys and keep an eye on key players. And I don't know if any of them got back to me while I was out doing my rounds.
Okay. Well, let me really quickly pull up so I know what to have you roll here.
Always important.
How familiar are you, Cesar, with the occult? Let's do that first.
Whoa.
Or supernatural. Would you consider yourself a novice, an unknown, or an expert?
Probably a novice. He prefers skill. He doesn't really. If he came in contact with magic, he's the kind of guy to rationalize it as an incredible feat of skill. And he just assumes that he's just very good at what he does. He doesn't really attribute magic into his life.
Okay. Let me quickly ask everybody that question so that we can actually capture that. Liv, which one would you say you are?
I think Liv would consider herself an expert. She grew up in a superstitious family, and she knows she didn't get this far based on skill alone.
Perfect.
She has that level of self-awareness, at least.
Nice. Raymond?
Are the only two choices expert or novice? Is there a middle one?
Or unknown.
Or unknown. I wish there was a middle one.
I would say novice. I would say novice is middle. Unknown is really nothing.
Okay. Because I feel like he's explored it, like anything to get ahead. Like he'll do voodoo, he'll do cults, he'll do whatever, as long as it gives him some kind of edge, whether it taught him how to take throats out better or whatever. He probably has tried everything a little bit, but he's not like an expert at anything.
Okay. I think that makes sense.
He was like, I was Catholic for 2 weeks too.
And Kallie, would you consider yourself unknown, novice, or expert?
So probably novice. I think she's like had a connection to nature and winter, but like doesn't quite understand it. But had some experiences as like a child, maybe like getting lost in the winter weather.
Okay.
Well, led back.
Okay. Make sure to record those on your character sheets. Okay. Then for Cesar, you had Seamus go out, and what were your exact instructions?
Keep an eye on Rudolph, keep an eye on Fatima, gather any information you can about him.
Okay. So I will say that you haven't yet seen Seamus this morning, but you assume he'll come to you at some point today.
Right. I'm still waiting on Seamus to get back to me. Once he does, I'll have a little bit more information for you. I got him watching Fatima and Rudy right now.
Excellent. That's all I can ask for. Kallie, did you hear anything through the grapevine, maybe?
No. I haven't gone looking, though.
Fair. And Liv? Any fun gossip at the party that I missed out on?
Ooh, yeah. Did I get any fun gossip?
Let's see. Roll a charm.
Is this a thing that I can use to enhance charisma for?
Sure. We'll make the DC. We'll make it 6.
That is an 8 plus 2 for enhanced charisma, so a 10.
Okay.
I think that's how that works.
That's quite high. Jeez. Yeah, you get gossip. You get quite a bit of gossip. Anything in particular that you're wanting to know about, or do you just want to know anything?
I think Liv would be most interested in hearing about potential easy targets or really scandalous relationship gossip.
Okay. Well, you had a 10. So what did I say? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I will give you 2 tidbits of juicy information. I will say that you heard down the grapevine as everybody was chatting and drinking way too much alcohol and having way too loose of lips, that the rum runner tunnels, you have heard a couple of people talking about them in a way where they're like, yeah, apparently it's becoming like a big problem for, the Russos. I don't really know why. Something about, what's going on in the tunnels, but, nobody's been asked to do anything. We got to assume that when she needs people to go down there and take care of it, she'll just tell us, but for right now, she's not telling anybody to do anything. So, the Rum Runner tunnels are becoming a bit of a problem. But Melinda seems to be waiting before she has anybody deal with that issue. That's one thing. Another thing is, that Teacup, who is Rudolph's wife, is very unhappy in her marriage. And this for a different couple of reasons. Number one, let's say you met a very, very mouthy older woman who seems to be like kind of obsessed with you at the party. She was just like constantly talking about how beautiful you were and how like you looked so great. She was giving like, man, I wish I could be you type of situation. But let's see how much information she gives you. Go ahead and roll another charm, and it's going to be against her charm.
Okay. Is this another supernatural charisma thing, or have I burned that bridge?
You can do it. Well, it doesn't matter.
That exploded. So that's 12 plus 3, so 15 plus 2, 17.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
I would like all of the information, please. What is her bank account number?
Yeah, okay. We're giving this lady a name because for some reason her whole life story. Her name is Miss Gertrude.
Perfect.
And she was very adamant that it was Miss Gertrude, not Mrs.
Damn, I could have gone home with Gertie.
She is single, essentially, is what that conversation was. And Miss Gertrude, she is a local, of her, but you also know that a lot of people talk about her in terms of the gossip. So sometimes you can't tell if what she's saying is actually true, And she likes to overindulge in her stories. And then also she has a really weird, like, family dynamic that she talks about a little bit too openly type of situation.
She's coming over for tea every Sunday.
Yes, she's definitely one of those women who are like, oh my God, darling, you have to come over for tea. I have so much to tell you. And what she tells you is honestly pretty freaking juicy. But that's also the reason why people are like, this woman. Yes. So she begins to kind of talk about a bunch of stuff. Number one, she talks about how she was invited to the Rudolph estate or the Volkov estate or the Volkov mansion, it's called to most people, because it's a very gaudy, like Versace mansion of like old burlesque gold and marble and huge statues everywhere and like gold that's painted in the floor tiles type of situation. It's very over the top. And it's kind of a destination for people to go just to be in the atmosphere. So she was talking and kind of bragging about how she was invited and that she, drank out of a $5,000 teacup and like how the Volkovs are so disgustingly rich. So she was talking about all of that. And she kind of just mentioned offhandedly that she was a little disappointed with Teacup because, they were having this amazing tea and she was having such a good time. And she just wasn't very talkative, just constantly moping, just like seemed sad, which was really just killing her buzz, to be honest. And from that, you kind of continue to poke to see what more she could give you. So I'll say from that, you kind of learn that there's an interesting thing going on with Teacup because she has had 2 husbands at this point. Rudolph is her second husband. And that there's a bit of drama with her first husband. But what's more interesting is that even though she is now married to Rudolph, there seems to be some whispers that she's unhappy in that marriage, and so she's kind of shopping around secretly. And so what you kind of hear from Miss Gertrude is that she kind of made like a crass joke about that while, you know, she was high on tea, I guess, at this meeting. And Teacup kind of blew up at her, you know, very unladylike, and was very rude to her after that and stormed out of the little tea party she was having. But she did tell you that later she received a very nice letter that, you know, said that she apologized and that she was just going through a rough time. And that, of course, she would love to have her back for tea another time. And so, you know, she's since forgiven her. But that's what you kind of hear from the mouth of Miss Gertrude, who just, wow, now she is indeed a big old gossip queen for that role. Now she's a character.
Love it.
She was just a random NPC, and now she's a whole character.
Love it when you roll a character into existence.
Exactly. So those are the things you've learned. You've learned there's some drama with Teacup and Rudolph in their household. And you also learn that there's something weird going on with the Rum Runner tunnels, and that Melinda knows about that, but that she's not really doing anything right now.
I will relay that to Raymond in a much shorter version than it was relayed to me by Gertie.
So, that statement made by Rudolph about the rats might be referring to the left hand? So, it might be possible that whatever's in the rum runners tunnels might be the left hand. I wonder if Teacup is working with them, since she's so upset with her marriage.
You think she's shopping for her next husband in the left hand? That would be going down a couple of steps.
I don't know. Small groups can really shoot up the ladder in a matter of moments if they take out the right people.
Well, it would be a shame if the wrong small group did that.
I agree.
Do you want me to send some of my boys to try and get in touch with the left hand, or do we just want to let this play out?
Do we know, Dungeon Master, how dangerous the left hand is? Like, are they...
Yeah, I think you would know that they are not big on like ability, like they don't have a lot of skilled people. They also aren't big on like technology. They don't have like a bunch of weapons or a stockpile of weapons or easy way to get weapons. Their main danger, which is one of the reasons why they're not seen as that dangerous, is their number. There are a lot of them, like a lot, way more than all of your crews combined. But they're scattered. Like they do have leadership, but they are still scattered in terms of like they're not really organized crimes and like crime. They're just kind of like, you know, we're trying to just stick together enough so that we can like survive.
Well, what if we made the left hand useful to Miss Russo instead of confronting them directly, as we don't have the numbers, but we do have the brains to run more than this small organization we're doing now. Thoughts? Concerns?
I mean, we've got good contacts with our men in the wharf. We could always send some of them to reach out to the left hand, see if they want to parlay.
And what about the risks? You know, I know it's a problem for Miss Russo, but she hasn't directly asked anybody to take care of this problem. What do we think about stepping on toes?
Depends on how we're stepping. I mean, if you're trying to form mutual agreements with the left hand, you're going to be picking fights with everybody else.
That's fair.
I'll say that who would think they would have some connection with the left hand? And I can tell you a little bit more about them, but whoever thinks they would have more contact with them can roll to see if they know a little bit more about them. But
I would assume Cesar, because he does a lot of interface with some of the more like working class.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else?
I mean, I might know some of them just from being in the sewer, but like if I do, they're all rat aficionados. Like we talk about our pet rats.
Okay.
I'm
gonna roll. Well, why don't I have a coin? I should have a coin. Somebody flip a coin because I don't. Oh wait, do I have one?
You can just roll a d6 and do odds or evens.
No, I want a coin. I want to be cool. I found one. I'm gonna flip a coin, and I'm gonna call heads, tails. Okay. Everyone roll a charm roll. DC is going to be 8.
Everybody or just those two?
Everybody.
Oh. 2.
Okay.
I got a 5.
Got a 13.
Also a 2.
Hey, high five.
Okay. So it was Raymond, and that's it.
I got a 5, so not me.
Then for the other one, everyone roll me. Let me write this down because I'm forgetting already. There we go. Okay. Everyone roll me charm again. DC for this one is going to be a 10.
Oh,
Okay.
That one's 11. Real highs and lows today.
That's a 2 again for Kallie.
I'll take your 2 because I got a 2.
Oh no.
Ooh, I rolled a 1.
That's incredible.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. I'll say all of you know the leaders of the left hand. There are 2 factions. Well, they're one whole organization or, group or crew or whatever, but they are often split from the north side to the south side. And so to make it easier, they have like 2 leaders. Also, these 2 leaders are twins. It's Geraldine and Gerald.
That's
Liv, your role got you in with Geraldine. So we'll talk about how
Hey.
that happened.
Wow.
And your role got you in with Raymond. Your role got you in with Gerald, which is interesting. I was not thinking y'all would have an in with both of them in different ways, but that's fun. Okay. So you guys know who the leaders are. And let's say with you guys all thinking this question of what's going on with the rum runners and the left hands, and they've been in everyone's mouth recently, and there's something about rats, et cetera, bless you. Liv and Raymond, you two would probably be the best bet of reaching out to either Gerald or Geraldine. Liv, you would have a better chance of reaching out to Geraldine, and Raymond would have a better chance at reaching out with Gerald. Gerald runs the south side and Geraldine runs the north side. You guys don't know what's going on with the tunnels or like where the tunnels are yet in terms of like the issues. So you can kind of try both or pick one, but you can, send a correspondence, or you can, have Cesar send some people in your name, that type of situation, to try to reach out to one of them to hopefully maybe get some information. You can also ask for like a meeting. So what would you like to do?
I think Geraldine and Liv have bonded over their love of pastries. So I would like to invite Geraldine for tea.
I'm sorry, what? You want to invite Geraldine?
For tea, yes. To my house. For tea and pastries.
Okay. Where will this be?
At my house, because I have no fear.
Okay. Love it. Raymond.
Yes. I'm in with Gerald, the brother.
Yes.
He's in the south,
Yes.
which is where our speakeasy is, right?
Nope. He's
No.
way south. You see where the left
Way
hand
south.
is? Way in the south? Yeah. They're not in the center city. They're way out. So when you invite Geraldine, she's coming from way north, and she most likely has never been in the city proper.
Okay, maybe I'll invite her to a
No,
cafe. All right.
I've already written it down.
Fine. They're good pastries. It'll be worth it.
So Raymond, what are you wanting to do?
I think I have that sewer tunnel I like. Feel like that's where I've met Gerald.
Okay. Any way in particular? You guys were just hanging out in the sewer?
Well, I was probably pressing somebody for some answers down there. And, these tunnels are pretty echoey. So, he probably came to observe and was impressed. That's all.
Okay.
Not talking about rats. And she's just a charmer.
Okay. So what do you want to try to reach out to Gerald, or do you want to wait to see if Liv has any luck?
Oh boy. I feel like I'd want to reach out to Gerald just to see if I could suss out what the problems are and see if it's like an internal issue or if like he's got rebellion on his mind or something.
Okay.
So, I guess I'd invite him to. What would me and Gerald do in the sewer?
You also don't have to meet him directly. You can send someone or just send a correspondent.
That's fair. I could do that. I will send a brand new collar for his rat, Jeremy, because we're sticking with G sounding names. I'm gonna send him a collar for his rat, Jeremy, and just say, heard there might be rough times coming up. Any information would be helpful.
Okay. That is what you guys do. And so we will revisit that. You all are having this conversation in the main room. You can kind of hear Millie making some noise out in the reception as she kind of starts to walk back to you. You can hear the little clip clop of her heels when she has like her little clipboard to let you know the expectations for clients and whatnot. And instead of her coming through the door, you all instead see Seamus.
Hey, Seamus, what you got for us?
He kind of comes over to you and he lets you know that he did what you said. Like, yeah, so I went and I looked at it, and he takes out his little notebook. He's like, so I did not let anyone know where I was going, and I kept an eye out on Fatima and did this and did that. And so he kind of gives you that. And then he kind of closes his notebook and puts his hand in his pocket and puts on the table 5 different severed fingers.
And who are these?
I didn't actually get their name. I was gonna write it down, but then I lost my pen because I had to stab someone in the eye with that. But what I did find out was that one of Fatima's cats got killed. So she's really upset about that because she doesn't know who did it. And then also, she cries a lot. So I did a lot of watching her cry. It's very sad. And there are rats in the runners tunnels. So,
what kind of rats? You talking snitches? You talking rodents?
Oh no, like like rats, like rat people.
Wait,
What?
what?
And that's where we'll end today.